and a reported FBI informant with the FBI chief and deputy attorney general. Democrats call that meeting highly inappropriate. They're demanding a bipartisan group be able to attend, a group that would include House and Senate leadership and the top Republicans and Democrats on the intelligence committees. Additional Senate Republicans are also asking for an invitation, like Judiciary Committee Chairman Chuck Grassley. Lisa.
Well, meantime, Jared, Deputy A.G. Rosenstein was part of a roundtable event with the president on New York's Long Island today about the MS-13 gang and shared concerns about legal loopholes in immigration policy, noting that some gang members come to the U.S. as unaccompanied minors.
Under federal law, all unaccompanied alien children, regardless of nationality, they have to go before a judge. They cannot be subject to expedited removal proceedings.
The president says he's considering changes in U.S. aid for countries that don't help stop illegal immigration. A late turnaround on Wall Street. The Dow up 52 points at the closing bell after a triple-digit slide during the session. Minutes from the latest Fed meeting getting much of the credit for the bounce because of easing inflation concerns. Fox News, fair and balanced.
My mom is really great. She's as sweet as she can be. When I need some help, I know she's always there for me. My mom loves me all the time, even when I'm naughty. Thank you for all you do. Hugwai sahau, Mommy.
For the entire month of May, stop by FHP Vision Center for 25% off sunglasses and 30% off lenses with ophthalmic frames. Receive an entry form to win a Coach Clutch pouch when you buy any Coach eyewear. Conditions apply. Happy Mother's Day, Guahan, from your friends at FHP.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese, turkey, bacon, and guac, rotisserie-style chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
Can the president block critics from a social media account? A federal judge says not without violating free speech rights.
This was a case that was brought by the Knight First Amendment Institute at Columbia University and 7 other people who said that they were blocked from access to the @Real Donald Trump Twitter feed simply because they had replied with tweets that were political in nature and critical of the president. The judge ruled, quote, "This case requires us to consider whether a public official may, consistent with the First Amendment, block a person from his Twitter account in response to the political views that person has expressed, and whether the analysis differs because that public official is the President of the United States." The answer to both questions is no.
Fox's John Roberts at the White House. A spokeswoman for the Justice Department says they respectfully disagree with the decision and are considering next steps. NFL players who don't want to stand for the national anthem have to stay in the locker room instead until it's over. The NFL adopting that new policy today, saying the goal is respect for the moment on the field.
Some teams will be fined for players kneeling during the anthem under these new rules. It was former NFL player and military veteran Nate Boyer who came up with kneeling when approached by teammate Colin Kaepernick.
I mean, I get it. I get where it's coming from. They're worried about the drop in ratings and the divisiveness that's spread into football now.
But he says forcing players to stand on the field is not healthy.
Because I don't think anybody should be a robot or stuck in a position where they feel like they don't have the freedom of speech that everybody else has.
He's curious to see if fans will kneel when players cannot.
Michael Board with Fox Radio affiliate WOAI in San Antonio. The Players Union says it's reviewing the new policy and that union leadership wasn't consulted. 4 potential buyers are sweet on the 171-year-old candy maker known for Necco wafers and those little candy hearts popular for Valentine's Day. It's up for grabs in bankruptcy court. A judge in Boston hearing proposals today. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any 2 toppings for only $1. overload your for real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your for real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For real overload, only available at participating Circle K's. Circle K, take it easy.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Are you a homeowner looking to save money on your power bill? Ever thought about getting solar on your roof? If the answer is yes, Micronesia Renewable Energy will install a solar energy system on your roof for zero money down, so you can save money on your power bill. Sign up in the month of May, and MRE will pay you $400 in cash. That's right. In the month of May, get a solar energy system on your roof, and MRE will pay you $400 just for signing up. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 6 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The tax increase that took effect in April has brought in more money to the government of Guam. Preliminary numbers from the Department of Administration suggest that the 25% increase in the business privilege tax increased BPT revenues in April by about 18%. DOA Director Edward Byrne confirming that an additional $3 million in BPT revenue was recorded for the month of April. However, Byrne cautions that that's a very preliminary figure and it may increase in the next few days. He told the Guam Daily Post that they're still reconciling the receipts for the month. The average monthly BPT revenue prior to April was roughly $17 million, said Byrne, but with the tax rate at 5% now, at least temporarily, the additional $3 million raises the monthly total up to about $20 million. Again, however, Byrne warns it's too early to project a trend. The monthly amount is likely to vary in the 5 remaining months that the temporary BPT remains in effect. The Guam Supreme Court yesterday rejecting the governor's request for a court order compelling the Guam legislature to forward the tax refund borrowing bill they passed last year to Adelup for his signature. Governor Calvo appealed to the High Court for the order after the Speaker's office refused to send the bill to him because the legislature had never determined that the bill was validly passed by them. The Guam Supreme Court said it could not grant the governor's request. They said it wasn't something that could be decided by the judicial system since it was more of a political question. We'll have more news after this.
Manila, Osaka, Fukuoka.
Dreaming about your next vacation? With the FHB United Mileage Plus credit card, you can get 10% off on United Airlines flights from Guam to Manila, Osaka, or Fukuoka when you book your ticket by May 31. Book your flight on United.com at a United City ticket office or your local travel agency using promo code FHB18M. Visit FHB.com/United Fair Sale 18 for more details. Terms and conditions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Rain. It's nature's way of cleansing the earth. Yet by the time that rainwater makes its way to your home, it may not be exactly the same as nature created it. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve the quality of the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home, so you can be sure your water is clear, clean, and fresh, just as nature intended it to be. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. Call American Water Tech, 649-2301, or email info@americanwatertech.com.
10 minutes past 6 a.m. here at The Point. The Guam Police Department and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency are not yet able to say just where all the cocaine that has washed up on our shores recently has come from, nor could they say whether the 3 separate incidents are connected. During a news conference at GPD headquarters in Teason yesterday, Police Chief Joseph Cruz said they cannot say for sure, but they may find out once the drugs have been analyzed by the Drug Enforcement Agency, which may be able to pinpoint where it was grown. After Chinese characters were found on some of the bricks of cocaine seized in March from the shoreline near the Hawaiian rock quarry, there has been some speculation that it came from China, but neither Chief Cruz nor Edward Talbot, the resident DEA agent, would speculate on the origin or say whether the three seizures were connected. Talbot said that the DEA is working closely with the Guam police to learn more. Since March, 39 pounds of cocaine valued at nearly $1 million has been seized by authorities after reportedly washing ashore. About 35 pounds of that was taken from a home in Inarajan last Thursday. One of the suspects said he found the drug inside a plastic barrel that had washed ashore near his home. It wouldn't be the first time that's happened in our region. In January, Philippine and Taiwan media reported that on the sinking of a Taiwan-flagged vessel that went down during a storm north of the island of Samar in the Philippines. The day after the ship sunk, a plastic drum packed with tightly wrapped bricks of cocaine washed ashore on the southern coastline of Luzon. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
Thank you very much, Kevin Kerrigan. Partly cloudy skies and hot this afternoon. Isolated showers are in the forecast, maybe to cool things down. East winds 10 to 15 miles an hour. Daytime highs today 89 degrees, but because of the muggy, we've got some additional information that we are going to pass along to you. We get today a heat index, and that's going to bring the temps up around 101 degrees. It'll feel like 101 degrees. Overnight lows of about 78 degrees. The sun will not be able to come down quick enough. Looking at the weather map, here's Michael Knight.
Got not much going on, really. As we look at the map here, we're just under the timestamp arrow there to the right. And just some that stuff blowing from, the bottom left up to the top right. That's actually in the upper levels, so that's showing a jet stream that's flowing overhead, which is one reason why nothing can develop right now. Got some blobbage down there to the southeast, down around Juuk, and actually models are hinting that that might develop into something sometime around the end of the month. We'll keep an eye on it. Still way too early to tell. For us, though, not too bad. Should be pretty good. The rain and winds will increase slowly over the next few days.
Relatively dry weather pattern, but like we said, it's muggy out there.
It really is. Yeah.
Don't stay out, even in the morning. I mean, I'm standing outside, opening the door to the building at 4:45 this morning and thinking, I'm sweating already.
Well, when you walk out to your car and it's sweating,
Sunset tonight, 6:42. Sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 5:53. That's news and weather together right here on The Point. What happened? Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. I was supposed to say, brought to you by Bank Pacific, where others put branches. They place roots. On The Point.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There are so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
Portions of the program also brought to you by King's Restaurant. They've got those local lunch favorites. Yesterday, pork sinigang. Today, it's Meatloaf Thursday. Doesn't that sound nice? I want to get a T-shirt that says that. Meatloaf Thursday. What do you get? Don't let your meatloaf. Yeah, it's the fourth grade. Friday, tomorrow, it's beef tinactac. Try the pick 2 or pick 3 combos. Lunch happening for you all the time at King's.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
And also brought to you by Security Title, providing solutions for even the most complex real estate transactions.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Timoning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. call 475-1162.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. Hi, it's the Ray Gibson Show on The Point 93.3. You've heard the news from Kevin Kerrigan, and now we'll get a chance to talk about it. Weather and information from Michael Knight. You can if you ever need a weather forecast, you just want to know what's going on, 888-8255, and just call up the radio station. Say, hey, Mike, what's the weather going to be like today? Should I bring a raincoat? Should I have an umbrella handy? Should I do something? And Mike will give you the explains. Now, if you want to go on the radio, same number, 888-8255.
But don't call and just ask, is it going to rain? Because what I will say is, maybe.
Maybe.
We live in Guam. I mean,
it's always an appropriate forecast for here.
It's not a perfect sign.
It'll rain Chinese cocaine. That's what it's going to rain.
Oh, sorry, wrong sound. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I've been footloose and fancy free with the word hoax lately. And I'm not going to necessarily retract it. I am going to say that there is mounting evidence now that supports the idea that perhaps this guy in Iran actually did find the cocaine.
His lucky day, right?
Yeah, actually found a barrel of cocaine. Floating around in the waters of Iran. Kevin Kerrigan, intrepid reporter Kevin Kerrigan, writes. Sent me a note from Taiwan News. And the headline is, cocaine from suspected Taiwanese freighter washes up in the Philippines. And
in a plastic drum.
If you look at a map, Guam and the Philippines are in the same about place.
Yeah, but that ship had to sink, and the currents don't take it this way.
Yeah, that is true. Our chief editor, Gaynor Dumont, asked the Weather Service yesterday whether or not it would be possible and for...
If it would basically go around.
They said, well, you'd have to wait a year for it to traverse the Pacific and come back.
Yeah.
Well, how long has this thing been?
So it's unlikely to have floated over here from that sunken ship. But apparently there are ships out there with cocaine in them.
So they're doing the analysis now. So they had a press conference. The police had a press conference, basically said, we don't know.
Yeah. DEA is taking over.
Could just put it in a press release instead of dragging everybody up to Teton, right? Did they at least give you refreshments? Were coffee, water, samples of the
They
cocaine?
are working together to solve the problem.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm sure there are strategic reasons to want to be able to do something like that.
Protect the integrity of the investigation.
For the drug guys out there that are wondering if maybe they've been, if the cops are onto them. They had a press conference that said, we're not on to anybody right now. Yeah. So keep doing your druggy thing out there when in real life they are onto them and probably setting up the sting now as we speak, right?
Maybe.
A plastic drum packed with cocaine valued at millions of dollars washed up on the shores of eastern Philippines in the town of Matnog, as reported by the local media there. Matnog is a municipality in the province of Sorsogon, about 403 kilometers. That's 250 miles southeast of Manila. The drum was discovered by local fishermen on Wednesday and reported the same day to the authorities immediately, which is what you do when you find a barrel, a drum of cocaine.
Yeah.
You report it to the authorities immediately, same day.
But I thought we should distribute 10 pounds of it real quick, before
to your
we
friends.
let them know. Yeah, because...
Well, because the cops aren't going to know how much cocaine was in there.
Exactly. Plus, I want to make my friends happy or something.
Found about 24 kilograms, 53 pounds. Oh, there's a discrepancy there, Kev.
They got more than we did. Right?
Yeah, the Filipino drum has 53 pounds of cocaine. Ours only had 35.
But
there's more.
10 was gone. 10 pounds was gone from that drum that was found down in Iran.
Well, that's because they gave it to somebody, right?
That's
Keep
right.
in mind,
which means 45 pounds.
And keep in mind, this information coming from the guy that According to and sold the drugs.
Yeah, according to a lot of credibility. Mr. Credibility. According to the local media reports, authorities in the Philippines suspect the source of a huge amount of cocaine could have been a Taiwan flag cargo ship that was hit by huge waves off the eastern Philippines just a day before the drum filled with cocaine was discovered. Yeah, see, would it have gone in one day from Taiwan to the Philippines?
No. It sank just south of Luzon.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
And apparently...
okay. It didn't sink in Chinese waters.
No. But it was...
Ask the Chinese, they'll say it was our waters.
They said it wasn't theirs.
Territory. All right. My point is, and I'm not gonna say there is no hoax, but I may gently back away from it.
Right.
I may gently back away from it. And strangely enough, I got to find it. It's in Facebook. I think I've been called out by a Facebook group here. Let me see if I can press the thing that says Facebook on it, and then there's another one. Just it. It's G Scoop, and G Scoop writes yesterday afternoon. Good evening. We were listening to Ray Gibson this morning. By the way, we've missed you, Ray. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. And we got some really good laughs. What really caught our eye was his claim that the accusations from Dennis Rodriguez and Troy Torres about J.D. Tuncap were nothing more than a hoax. I suppose an investigation being done by the FBI? Or was that another hoax? And we will know more. Is the FBI actively involved in an investigation based on the allegations that were made by Troy Torres?
If they were, they wouldn't tell us.
Yeah, these guys at G Scoop, they got it going on. At any rate, the bigger question is, who do we believe? Ray Gibson, a very popular and credible radio host, again, thank you, or Troy Torres, a former staff at Adelup, former, and it would appear current, Rodriguez Cruz campaign manager. And there's a variety of comments on that I personally find amusing. And
I read through some of them.
I'm sorry, I normally would not have responded to that, but any publicity, any free publicity, especially on Facebook, social media, you can't pay for this kind of thing.
Well, you can,
so
but
naturally,
you won't get as good.
yeah. So naturally, I did make a comment, and the comment is simply this: you ever go fishing? You need to chum the water. You need to get some bait in the water. I'm of the opinion, and this is why I'm telling everybody I think it's a hoax. I'm of the opinion that until the guy in the middle comes out,
right.
So there's a connection between J.D. Tuncap, a guy in the middle, and Dennis Rodriguez, and until that guy in the middle comes out, this didn't happen. It's the same as I said about the earthquakes yesterday. If I didn't feel it, it didn't happen.
But wouldn't the guy in the middle actually be the one that's in trouble? So he's probably not in a big hurry to be done.
Well, I don't know how much trouble the guy in the middle is going to be in. All he did was allegedly carry the message from Jay Dean's lips. And there's a picture of Jay Dean in the blurb on Facebook. They found a picture of her. Right. Anyway, so he carried the message from Jay Dean's pretty lips to Dennis Rodriguez, according to Dennis Rodriguez, who said it happened. But the guys at the governor's office say it didn't happen. It was a fabrication. It was a lie.
But many times, we kill the messenger. So this guy's probably laying low because he doesn't want to.
So he needs to come out. The guy, whoever he is, needs to come out. Because here's the thing, is there's lots of people now that say they know who it is. I've got names. And like I said, we were talking about this late yesterday. In particular, there's a name that is floating around, and the reason why this guy doesn't want to come out is because he is a Dennis guy, but the people he works for are Ray guys. And if he comes out and says Dennis is right, then it's basically the same thing as saying Ray's a liar. The Adelup is a liar. Oyal is a liar. Eddie Calvo is a liar. And the people that he is associated with do not want him to say that. So when I said ever go fishing, that's what I was talking about. Needed to chum the waters a little bit. And I think if I continue to talk about it like it's a hoax, maybe that will help, I don't know, get enough sharks interested in popping out and throwing the right name at the wall. And I'm trying to figure out what they're supposed to do at the Election Commission. I don't know what they're supposed to do at the Election Commission because they don't have the guy in the middle. So as far as they're concerned, it's speculation and hearsay. But what did they say about me? a very popular and credible radio host. Thank you. Look at me, my doggin's getting big. 6:25 in the morning. There's other to talk about, and I don't know that's the same noise they made at the legislature when word got out that the Supreme Court declined an opportunity to get in the middle of a fight between the governor and the legislature. How did it go? Yay! We win in the court. How about that? What were the words that the judges used? A non-justiciable political question.
Well, they didn't say. I don't think they said political, but non-judiciable. That's something that a lawyer would say.
I'm sorry. What's that?
That was something that's something that a lawyer would say.
Yeah,
judiciable.
So
what does that mean?
Well, it reminds.
It's none of our business.
Yeah, we're staying out of this. You guys want to continue to fight about it, continue to fight about it. But it is what Bob Klitsky told me. Right. The last time we had him on the line, we were on this particular topic. We were talking about it, and he says, "Look, the legislature has rules and regulations that they follow that they can create, and among them are unless it's got a signature here and a date stamp there, and unless it was actually stuck in the Manila envelope and whatever the rules are, and sent up to Eddie Calvo for a signature or a veto, it has not yet passed the legislature." And until all of those things, until all of those criteria are met, it's got to be stuck in the journal, and then they have to sprinkle legislative fairy dust all over it. Until that has happened, then it is not a bill ready for the governor's consideration. And even though there was a question about how many votes were needed, how many votes weren't needed, what was a quorum, all of that, that was an interesting question, but it didn't resolve the issue on whether or not we had a bill that was ready to go to the governor's office. And the fact that the legislature did not consider it ready to go to the governor's office, the court drew the same conclusion. And so there is not going to be, unless there is a new run-up on it at the legislature, I don't think there's going to be another call for a Tran bill. And I think that's going to make a number of people around here pretty happy. And it's going to tick, and among the people that are pretty happy about it are people that are running against Ray Tenorio. That would be virtually the entire Democratic Party, and I got notices from a couple of them yesterday, and there is no emoticon. I think they need to make a little emoji for that. Right, where the governor lost in court and we're really happy about it, emoji. There should be something like that. So on my WhatsApp messages from a variety of these people yesterday who couldn't wait until my nap was done to tell me all about it. They were fairly excited about that particular news, and something that continues to grow. And among the friends and colleagues that I spend time with, the big question still is this guy Hamid Shirvani. And Kevin yesterday sends me a headline that reads, "The Hamid Shirvani disaster tour continues." And it written by a guy named Mike McFeely in North Dakota. He said, Hamid Shirvani is at it again, and that's not a good thing for Shirvani or his employer or those who have to work for him. And interesting story, and maybe I'll share the link with you on this a little bit later on. But there is a new link, and I'm annoyed because I can't get my hands on it, that basically says that he is aware of what the criticism is on Guam. He's aware, obviously, of what the criticism is in North Dakota, and says it's bigotry. He's saying the reason why everybody's giving him a hard time and jumping into his case is all about bigotry, and unfortunately, it seems to be behind a wall on another website. So I'll see if I can get a copy of this thing and read the rest of it to you. But almost immediately, as I said, once the name started coming out, I started getting telephone calls, and I'm sorry, nobody calls on the phone anymore. I never get phone calls. When I are, it's usually somebody mad at me. But I started getting text messages and the WhatsApps from people saying, "Hey, what happened to Juanita? Where's the local candidates?" So let me throw another conspiracy. Do I have time for another conspiracy? Sure. You sure? All right, because I just wanted, I know you're ready for the headlines.
No. Happy to hear you talk.
Thank you very much. Here's conspiracy. And I'm just throwing it out there because somebody threw it at me, and I said, I got 4 hours to kill on the radio tomorrow. Let's see what happens. So here's a conspiracy: 1, 2, 3 names that have been floated to the top of the search list. right? Including the Hamid Shirvani disaster. We'll start calling it that. So this is the conventional wisdom, at least among the conspiracy theorists that shared it with me last night, which is Anita Enriquez is number 4.
Oh, she'll move up on the list.
So yeah, the committee goes and says, oh, yeah, we found something about Hamid Shirvani that we're not crazy about, and so we're going to eliminate him. Anita moves to the 3rd place position, and then...
Ba-boom.
But what's the angel noise? The heavenly thing.
So basically, they're kind of pulling an EEOE thing. You know, they're giving everybody their fair shakes in public, but actually they kind of know who they're going to do.
I'm just...
Okay,
see, now you're just as much of a conspiracy... You're an even bigger conspiracy theorist than I am.
Clearly.
So what do you think of that?
I think it makes perfect sense.
Doesn't it?
I support the measure.
All right, so...
Sorry, guys, that we're wanting to be UOG.
Here's the deal. So if that's what happens, you heard it here first. I want to take the credit for it, and I won't divulge the name of the people that gave me the conspiracy. But if it happens, remember you heard it. It was the 20. What is it? Today's 24th, right? May 24th on the Point on the morning show that the conspiracy was announced and the prophecies maybe eventually come true. Let me prophesize this. We've got headlines in your future from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 32 minutes past 6 a.m. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, another $2 million in 2017 tax refund checks will be mailed out tomorrow. This will be the 5th release of refund checks this year, raising the total amount paid out to Guam taxpayers to $37 million. The amount of the last disbursement on May 14th was also about $2 million. 772 checks went out at that time, covering error-free returns through February 5th. This time, however, the governor's office, at least yesterday, couldn't say how many additional days of tax-free returns would be covered by tomorrow's disbursement, nor could they confirm just how many checks would be mailed out. A 27-year-old man who was supposed to be on house arrest pending sentencing for a 2017 armed robbery conviction was picked up by police in connection with 4 recent robberies, including 2 armed robberies where he allegedly shot at the cashiers. Jeremy Evaristo was apprehended following a search warrant at an Estumbo home on Tuesday where police recovered a cell phone that had been stolen from a victim. Evaristo was also found in possession of a black handgun that was reportedly used during those stick-ups. Police are seeking the public's help in finding 24-year-old Jesse Joe San Nicolas Delgado of Dededo. Delgado wanted for questioning relative to an ongoing criminal investigation. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau advises the community not to approach Delgado if seen, but to report any sightings to police immediately. Delgado was last seen in Chalan Subicayo in Estumbo and has been known to drive a black Toyota Helix pickup truck or a gray Nissan Rogue. Delgado stands about 5'8", weighs 165 pounds. He has blonde hair and a tribal tattoo on his left arm. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 6:34, and we'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect. They got them all over the place, and find out how you can connect longer for less with their push-to-talk and mobile plans.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
And I'm looking around to see if there's any kind of traffic at 6:34 in the morning. And the fact of the matter is, I'm not seeing anything on the traffic gizmo right now that is doing anything more than building up in some of the usual spots. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. Just let you know that things are clear right now. If you need to hit the road, go ahead and hit it, because it doesn't look like at this time it'll hit back. As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
Ray Gibson brings you closer to the action. Any speaker, anytime. Morning talk that matters.
It's 6:35. My name is Ray. Thanks for hanging out with me in the online deal at Facebook Live. You can also jump over on thepoint.gu if you're not supposed to be watching someplace where we can see your name. Sometimes that happens. Go to thepoint.gu and just lurk, if you will, and see what's going on. The thing is cool. On thepoint.gu, you can also see the comments that are made on the Facebook Live. I think the better experience, of course, is Facebook Live. But I mean, as I said, if you just want it playing off in the background, you can still get some of the commentary and see what people are saying. Like this one. Is there school tomorrow? Who asked that? I did. I asked, is there school tomorrow? And Janae says, no, last day of school is today. How about that? So imagine there's probably going to be a whole lot less traffic tomorrow morning. Jim Tillman's on the line. I see Elwin Kitano. What's he writing here? When it comes to putting people in leadership roles or positions of power, don't be fooled with GovGuam. If Hamid Shirvana is discovered to be related, and then he gives a whole bunch of local Indian names, he might get the job. It's about the money or the influence behind it. That's that's funny. All right. For Dodea, Jim says there is school tomorrow, so not everybody has got the day off. Looking forward to his last summer as a senator of the 34th Guam Legislature, or senator, period. I got Tom Haddock. Good morning, Tomas.
Hey, good morning, Ray.
I just wanted to find out how things were coming along with your with the CLTC hearings that you've been having.
Well, I think they're coming. You know, although on Tuesday night I was expecting a lot more people, but I think the ones that came out, there was probably about 20 people that provided oral testimony. Mm-hmm. And then there was a bit more that provided written testimony, and those, of course, the CLTC chairperson, Pika Farron, she brought down with her the other commissioners to sit in the room and personally listen to these testimonies, and assured the people that. For example, the land agents were up at land management, and as they introduced themselves, and they were pulling files so that they can give a timely response to these people. So that certainly is very encouraging. There was a good story today, I think, in the Post, I believe, that came from the chairperson. Mm-hmm. Leaving contact numbers and whatnot, but most importantly, assuring everyone that if there's going to be any changes, they will, the individuals will be contacted directly, and that all this is going to be done in a transparent manner. So, nobody's going to get caught by surprise. So that's very encouraging, and I'm encouraged by the fact that, she's really leaning forward.
Oh, yeah.
To address these issues.
Yeah, I don't know what she wants for her future, but I think there's a lot of people that have got their eye on her just based on the work that she is doing, and as you say, leaning forward into this issue, recognizing it for what it is, and a way to restore faith in the public, certainly in the CLTC, and maybe restoring faith in other parts of the government. So there's another one coming up.
Yes. So tonight at 5 p.m. Mm-hmm. And this time the respondents would be the Land Trust Commission members and, of course, the Executive Director. And we're going to be focusing in on program compliance with respect to the rules and regs that are currently in effect, mm-hmm. And the law itself. And also, I'm sure that they'll be responding to some of the concerns that were raised on Tuesday night, and And so it should be a good dialogue. I anticipate that, she'll make the opening remarks and go into a detailed testimony, and then I'll open it up for the senators to, ask their questions.
Sure.
Hoping that by the time we get to the senators, really the land trust officials would have answered most of the questions that can be anticipated to be asked.
Yeah, I think, speaking for people that have been watching this issue, folks that are frustrated with the issue, we hope that there is a certain amount of grilling that goes on. I think it's deserved, and I think there are some pointed questions that need to be asked about the slipshod way they were running over the rules.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to a productive conversation tonight, and then of course next Tuesday or the 29th, Tuesday, we will be having the final hearing, and at that hearing we're going to be focusing in on what kind of revenues does the land trust have coming in, and how have those revenues been spent. Because really a large part, of course, there's two main expenditure items, and that is to fund the operations, but the other large part of the expenditures that's expected from those revenues is the surveying of the properties, and basically paying for the services to clear access easements into these tracts of land.
Well, don't forget to ask about opportunities that the CLTC has with certain properties that they can lease to other parties so that they can bring in some decent rent money and use that rent money for surveying and some of the other services that the CLTC provides.
That's right. And the two main sources is, of course, they've got some commercial properties which generate revenues, one of them being the racetrack in Jigo there, which the lease on the license on that expires at the end of the month. So, certainly we want to keep that going and continue generating revenues. There's the Dedido Golf Course. And then there's another source, and that is the sale of bull cart trails, which really does not serve any purpose today, or the slivers of land that, maybe only just the adjacent landowner would really benefit just the adjacent landowner.
Do bull cart trails exist anywhere else, or is that totally Chamorro vernacular?
No, there was, for example, there was one behind the Our Lady of Peace funeral home across from, as an example, across from Reverend Taft.
The question is there such a thing as bull cart trails like in California, or is the concept something that is uniquely Guam?
Well, no, I know that on Guam the bull cart trails was our, pre-war access roads and whatnot, which have since been replaced by other better improved roads, and basically just lay there dormant.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I think there was one over by my dad's place once upon a time. From the Facebook Live, Elwin Quitano says, yes, Senator had to get the monies back, over $600,000, and pay for water and power, too. He would try to do the utility thing for these people. 6:43 in the morning. If you don't mind, can I change subjects on you real quick? Just a couple of interesting numbers that are floating around. Also in the Daily Post this morning is the conversation about the preliminary additional dollars from the increase in the BPT. And the numbers close to about $3 million, I think, is what the guy is from the Department of Administration is saying that they were able to net. That says that that's coming from the additional numbers. Is that number too high, too low for you?
I forget what was the average monthly that was being expected, but again there's two numbers that I think we should be looking at. One is how much is being projected to be generated from that 1% increase, and then the other number is how much is going to be actually collected.
Yeah. Well, the one number is $4.5 to $5 million is what they were anticipating. And so the preliminary numbers look like about 3, right?
Yeah, so they came down a little low then.
Well, and he
They're
says
still counting.
As he said, it's preliminary, and it's a consumption tax. So we're going to have to see how much consumption took place. Where the $33 million between April 15th and today has gone out there and penetrated the market a couple of times.
Yeah, so I guess a lot of those details are going to come out of this next public hearing that Senator San Agustin is going to be conducting. I think it's next week.
Okay.
On those several bills regarding, there's one from Senator San Nicolas to repeal the tax laws that were passed.
Yeah, and you know how I feel about that. I just said there's no reason to have another public hearing because it'll all be the same exact commentary that comes out from that public hearing. So we might as well just say it's already germane to something that we've done before and just move forward with the vote while you guys were in session yesterday.
Well, yeah, I guess you can try and make that case, but
Well, it's you guys in the legislature. You guys can make your own rules and change them on the fly. And speaking of rules of the legislature, I did want to get your opinion on this. What was your response when you found out that the Supreme Court declined to order the legislature into action on the governor's Tran bill?
Well, of course, I was elated that at least we're still preserving that separation of powers, and that. I think it was kind of anticipated, really, that the court was not going to tell the legislature how to do its job, or tell the governor how to do his job. They're basically they opined on how they interpreted the Organics Act with respect to how many votes it takes. But beyond that, I really wasn't surprised that the court wasn't going to.
That's right.
We're not going to come up and say, "Hey, you guys, do your work."
Yeah, the court's not going to do that. The court's not going to put itself in a position where it tells the governor how to do his job or the legislature how to do its job. That's my role. I get to do that. And did I already say finally? I didn't say finally, right? I mean, there was one other thing I wanted your comment on, and it has nothing to do with politics as much as it has to do with what's going on at the University of Guam and their search for a president. Now, you are eventually going to be a private citizen and will need to concern yourselves with more other things than just what's happening at the legislature. So I want to give you practice to give me an opinion on what you think about the president search so far at the university.
Well, I think the top three candidates that they have come up with certainly come with good credentials, although one of them certainly has, some issues to be concerned with.
Right.
And I think those shouldn't be taken lightly. I heard the conversation this morning that you were having about who number 4 was, and, I really would have liked to see that 4th candidate step up and really gotten due consideration. But we'll see how that plays out. And, so.
Well, I'm looking at this thing, and if this guy Shervani gets the job, this guy's going to be the next David Craddock of the University of Guam, if you know what I mean.
Well, I don't know that. I think the UOG has certainly come to the point where you don't need the bull in the china shop to turn things upside down to get it moving forward. And I think mentioning David Craddock at GWA, I think that was a needed shot in the arm, and but I don't think that's the case with UOG.
Got everybody's attention when he was here. One of these days we'll go over the myth and legend of David Craddock. Senator, I'll talk to you pretty soon. Good luck with your hearing tonight.
Thank you very much, Ray.
All right, we go. It's 6:49. The Ray Gibson Show continues. 888-8255. Again, that is 888-8255 is the phone number that we've got here at the radio station. Now, the point that I was making, in case you missed it, if you just tuned in, sometimes that'll happen. You let the snooze bar go a couple of times. If you just tuned in, what he's referring to is a conspiracy theory that was presented to me last night, which I presented on the radio just a few minutes ago, which is basically the 3 names that have been unveiled in the search for president at the University of Guam are 3 potential names for sure. What we don't see is candidate number 4, and I was told reliable source, interesting source, that the number 4 candidate on the list is Anita Enriquez. Sorry, this is Dr. Anita Enriquez, who I've opined is the scion of the University of Guam. She's been working there forever and is the academic vice president for Robert Underwood all of these years. She would be, how does Uncle Robert say it? The natural choice to take over at the university. And so I'm thinking about this and going, the conspiracy theory is we're going to knock this Shirvani guy off the list. We're just going to click him out, and she will rise to the top, making it easier for the regents then to make the appropriate selection here. 10 away from 7 o'clock in the morning. I figured, though, I better get an academic on the line, somebody from inside the system, and maybe give me his opinion about how he is seeing this search for the new president at the University of Guam. Dr. Ron McNinch joining me now.
Hey, good morning, Ray. Happy day, Guam.
And congratulations on Anita's graduation.
Thank you. You know, it's actually, I would like to say, Ray, my daughter going to the university really gave me a very strong appreciation for the university because, you know, I only have my little island in the School of Business and Public Administration at the university that I'm familiar with. Mm-hmm. But her going to UOG really helped me to understand and appreciate all the other parts of the university.
Now, personally, how are you going to deal with an empty nest?
Yeah, my daughter's in D.C. She's doing a congressional internship with Congresswoman Dalio for 2 months.
Nice.
And it's part of the Truman program. My daughter was a Truman last year, and so. Yeah, it's really kind of my wife has discovered on Facebook the video chat, and so I think that's helped certainly a lot.
Help keep you busy. Okay, a couple of things in my mind have to do with the presidential search at the University of Guam. Dr. Jeff is it Johnson, the fellow from Weary. Very, very good article that he's got in today's PDN. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure it'll eventually cross your desk. But I want to get your perspective as a professor at the university about how you feel that the search has gone so far, and confronted now with 3 names of people who are virtually strangers to our area.
Sure, Dr. John Jensen of Weary, he wrote a very thoughtful and appropriately reasoned letter. One thing that a lot of people don't know about me, Ray, is that actually I am a senior professional in human resources, and actually I am a specialist in the subject of selection of policymakers or people for jobs. That's actually
what you do.
The topic of my doctoral dissertation, and actually it's a lot of the reason I study elections on Guam is because governors then select people to work for them, and so that's where that link comes into. And so selection of employees is something that I actually study as a matter of my academic area.
Well, I'm glad we got the right guy on the phone then. So we've got the names that have come up so far, and I have not talked to anybody that is satisfied at all with these preliminary searches.
Well, one key thing I'd like to say up front is this: sometimes people want to blame others for these kinds of problems, and the committee had a really tough task, and the regents certainly had a tough task. But I have to say that in general, I hope in the future people discover this wonderful tool called Google, and you just Google the names of people before you go to another stage. And again, I think that I always, whenever we have candidates for hiring positions, because faculty help to hire other faculty and things like that, that's how the hiring process works for professors. It's professors run the hiring committee, and that's how it works. I always Google every candidate. I just make sure, and I look them up. I see what their footprint is in the internet and things like that.
It's the 21st century due diligence.
Right, and this is a very important position at the university. And also, Ray, there's a very important point that that we need to always remember with the position of the university president, and that is it's a position that is set by statute. It's not set by university rule by the Board of Regents. The Board of Regents have a law that specifies 3 basic requirements for the university president.
Yeah.
And the requirements are very, very clear. And so a reasonable search for a university president would start with that statute. They would take the statute and form the requirements for the position based on what the law says. And the law is very, very clear on the requirements for the university president. And so I guess sometimes in the heady activity of selecting a new head of an organization, the basics can sometimes be forgotten. And in this case, I think they did hire an outside consultant. I think they paid something like $140,000 for this outside consultant, if I recall. A
little bit more than what I heard. A little bit more than what as I said, it looks like the results of this headhunter's work don't seem to jive with the rest of the community, university community, just observers at large, and so the question arises: what then does the search committee do? Do they say, "Look, that's $140,000 that we could have spent on something else"? But do they adopt the findings of this guy just because we spent the money on it, or do they start over again as Dr. Jensen proposes?
Well, I think if they do start over, Ray, I think that the most reasonable way to start over would be to simply go back to, they have 2 winnowing kinds of groups. They have the group of 60 or so that initially applied.
Right.
And then they have a group of 9 or so that were given a kind of video interview. And probably the reasonable group to go back to, and to do it deliberately and reasonably, would be to go back to the group of 9 and kind of decide, how many of these 9 do we want to interview in person? And again, I have to say I don't like to play university politics on these positions, but I do believe that we have to make sure the community has faith in the university process, and that's
certainly in the process. But there will always, I don't know that you'd be able to extract the politics from it, and it's possible that depending on the selection here, it could exacerbate existing bad university politics, bad blood that might be floating around.
Right, and part of this also is Dr. Underwood, in a lot of ways, is a hard act to follow, and so that's the other dynamic that comes into play here, and that is, it's like you always want, the next person to try to be as good as the last person, especially if the last person had done good things.
Yeah, so in the radio business, what you do is you put somebody in there that you know isn't going to make it. We call that the sacrificial element, and then after you burn through the sacrificial element, you put somebody in there that is passable for the job, and most people say, yeah, that guy will do. But a couple of interesting remarks from Dr. Jensen with regard to Shirvani. This candidate has no apparent redeeming qualities that would justify him being shortlisted in spite of his problematic past, and he makes a recommendation that I'll share with the listeners in a little bit. Doc, I appreciate your time this morning.
Also, I have serious concerns about Dr. Shirvani myself, but I do hope that we'll get through this, and thank you, Ray, and certainly you always have a lot of neat insights in these kinds of questions.
It's because it's the way my brain bends, and you can thank Robert Underwood for that. 6:59 in the morning. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Dr. Ron McNinch from the University of Guam, his thoughts on the search for the president at the university, and thoughts from John Jensen are that they should just restart the process. I advise the best and indeed the only way to preserve the public confidence in the search process, protect the dignity and authority of the Board of Regents, and ensure the continued success of the University of Guam is for the board to abort the present search, examine and report on what went wrong, and make the appropriate corrections and start over. Concur, Doctor, concur. It is 7 o'clock in the morning. The radio station you're listening to is KUSG Gutnia. We are known as the point around this town. Coming up, I've got Fox News Live on the other side of that. Kevin Kerrigan with a look at all the big stories that we're talking about this morning from the Guam Daily Post. Hey, you looking for a job? I got a serious job opening I'll share with you in the next hour. Stay there.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
I'm Lisa Brady. Countries that don't help stop illegal immigration to the U.S. might get hit in the wallet.
We're going to work out something where every time somebody comes in from a certain country, we're going to deduct a rather large amount of money from what we give them in aid, if we give them aid at all.
President Trump at a roundtable event in New York on the MS-13 gang, also again calling gang members animals and denying Democrats' claims he's using the term for all illegal immigrants. Before he left for New York, the president telling reporters he hopes allegations of government spying on his campaign aren't true.
What I'm doing is a service to this country, and I did a great service to this country by firing James Comey.
He also says he wants transparency and thinks Democrats do too. Top Democrats say it's wrong they're not invited to a classified briefing on documents in the Russia probe for two top Republican lawmakers set for tomorrow. Respect the moment. That's the NFL's bottom line on protests during the national anthem, adopting a new policy that requires anyone on the field to stand for the anthem or stay in the locker room until it's over.
We've been very sensitive in making sure that we give players choices, but we do believe that moment is an important moment and one that we are going to focus on.
Commissioner Roger Goodell calls it a balance. The Players Union says it wasn't part of the new policy and is reviewing it. Teams, not players, will face fines for violations. You can hear more about this on our podcast, the Fox News Rundown, tomorrow morning at foxnewsradio.com. A late rally on Wall Street. The Dow up 52 points, erasing a sell-off during the session. The S&P up 8, the Nasdaq up 47 after Fed minutes eased concern about inflation. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Howdy, folks. Can't get enough of my KFC Smoky Mountain Barbecue? I'm bringing more to Guam this month with my new KFC Smoky Mountain Grilled Barbecue Chicken. KFC's chicken coated with a sweet and smoky barbecue sauce. Oh, and by the way, Smoky Mountain Barbecue is still available on KFC's Extra Crispy Chicken and boneless strips. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
While the president's been slamming MS-13, the FBI's been cracking down on another gang. Just wrapping up a briefing in Los Angeles, where Fox's Jessica Rosenthal is live.
Lisa, U.S. Attorney here Nick Hanna says one indictment alleges gang members controlled by the Mexican mafia engaged in violent crimes in a city here called Pomona. The other indictment charges most of these defendants with racketeering for their control of the jail system.
The organization would arrange for cocaine, methamphetamine, and heroin to be smuggled into the jails, often through accomplices who hid the drugs in body cavities and who got themselves intentionally arrested on minor charges.
This morning, in an operation led by the FBI, they arrested 32 alleged gang members. Another 35 were already in custody. 16 are considered fugitives, Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. Former baseball star Lenny Dykstra accused of putting a gun to the head of an Uber driver in New Jersey. He was arrested early today outside police headquarters after the driver stopped and ran out of the car. And police say they found cocaine and marijuana in Dykstra's belongings. He's now charged with making terroristic threats and drug offenses. He previously served time for crimes including bankruptcy, fraud, and money laundering. Ahead of the midterm elections, Twitter adding labels to candidates' accounts and and tweets.
The banners will include what office a person is running for and where. It will remain in retweets and posts embedded in a news article. The move comes following revelations Twitter and several other social media sites were compromised by malicious actors trying to influence elections.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin. Cashing in on the royal wedding, some of the hundreds of non-VIP guests allowed to stand outside the chapel Saturday are selling their free gift bags online. The commemorative tote includes a variety of items stamped with the official wedding stamp. One seller got over $28,000. I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth, from vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams. We're all concerned with protecting our world's water, but none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
Security Title is honored to join and sponsor Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Mark Benventi of Santa Rita, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voice of our community and sharing thoughts and issues that affect us all. It all boils down to our people, our land. Protei Igumamo. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Guam Supreme Court has rejected the governor's request for a court order compelling the Guam legislature to forward the tax refund borrowing bill they passed last year to Adelup for his signature. Governor Calvo had appealed to the High Court to tell the legislature to send the so-called Tran bill to his desk, but the legislature has refused, and now has the High Court has as well. The bill would have authorized a line of credit for GovGuam, which the governor wanted to use to borrow money to pay tax refunds. Some lawmakers, however, countered that the administration should adhere to the law that requires the government to regularly set aside enough money for the tax refund payments rather than borrow more money to do so. The High Court has decided not to get in the middle of the dispute, ruling that it is not something to be decided by the judiciary, leaving it to the realm of politics. Guam Regional Medical City has closed a $155 million financing deal with both Asian and North American institutional lenders. That, according to a news release posted on the PR Newswire website. PI Capital International and Corsario Advisors advised GRMC on the financing. The transaction terms were not disclosed in the news release posted on the PR Newswire website. The tax increase that took effect in April has brought in more money to the government of Guam. DOA Director Edward Byrne has confirmed that an additional $3 million in BPT revenue has been recorded for the month of April after the 1 percentage point increase in that tax took effect on April 1st. However, Byrne cautions that it's still a very preliminary number and it may increase in the next few days because he said they're still reconciling receipts from the month. John Camacho, the director of the Department of Rev and Tax, has previously estimated that a 1 percentage point increase in the BPT should bring in between $4.5 and $5 million more in additional revenue each month. We'll have more news after this.
Manila, Osaka, Fukuoka.
Dreaming about your next vacation? With the FHB United Mileage Plus credit card, you can get 10% off on United Airlines flights from Guam to Manila, Osaka, or Fukuoka when you book your ticket by May 31. Book your flight on United.com at a United City ticket office or your local travel agency using promo code FHB18M. Visit FHB.com/United Fair Sale 18 for more details. Terms and conditions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. Another $2 million in 2017 tax refund checks will be mailed out tomorrow. This will be the fifth release of refund checks this year. It raises the total amount paid out to Guam taxpayers to $37 million. The amount of the last disbursement on May 14th was also about $2 million. 772 checks went out at that time, covering error-free returns through February 5th. However, the governor's office yesterday couldn't say just yet how many additional days of tax-free returns would be covered by tomorrow's disbursement, nor could they confirm just how many checks would be mailed out tomorrow. Police are seeking the public's help in locating 24-year-old Jesse Joe San Nicolas Delgado of Dededo. Delgado wanted for questioning in connection with an ongoing criminal investigation. He was last seen in Estumbo and has been known to drive a black Toyota Hilux pickup truck or a gray Nissan Rogue with license plate CHP 6236. Delgado stands about 5'8", weighs 165 pounds, has blonde hair and a tribal tattoo on his left arm. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapau advises the public not to approach Delgado, but to report any sightings of him to police immediately. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
It says 712. The weather forecast for today is going to be hot. That's the word from Michael Knight and the guys from the National Weather Service. Partly cloudy, hot this afternoon with some isolated showers. Probably not enough to cool you down, though. That's the thing. East winds about 10 to 15 miles an hour. Expected highs today, 89 degrees. With the heat index, it'll feel like 101. So if you're one of those people that just absolutely can't handle the heat, I don't know, maybe something going on, the hormones are changing, go inside where the air conditioner is. Overnight lows tonight about 78 degrees. Sunset at 6:42 and sunrise tomorrow should be about 5:53. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Morico Equipment on Epau Road is expanding. Morico now requires a dynamic individual with proven sales skills to join their heavy equipment parts sales team to do outside parts sales to new and existing customer accounts. A commission package, Morico vehicle, phone, and laptop are on offer. While sales experience is preferred, applicants must be highly self-motivated with excellent communication and time management skills and able to use Microsoft Word and Excel. Apply on MoricoEquipment.com. Morico Equipment LLC is now an employee-owned company.
Cool about that. King's Restaurant is serving these great local lunch favorites every weekday. On Mondays is Salisbury steak. On Tuesdays is beefsteak. Tomorrow, Wednesdays, pork sinigang. Today is Thursday. Meatloaf Thursday. Tomorrow's beef tenactac. They've also got a pick 2 or pick 3 combo, so check it out today. Lunch at King's.
For more than 40 years, we've managed our island's most precious resource, your health. Take Care's benefit plans allow members access to more than 120 medical providers, 40 dental providers, and 18 pharmacies in the region. Take Care's health plans ensure members in Palau, Saipan, and Guam receive the care they deserve. Our programs and wellness classes have proven results for our valued members, and our commitment to your health never been stronger. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
It's 7:14. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL American President Lines. Shipping the future. Future.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any 2 toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K, take it easy.
The Coconut Wireless is back. Morning talk that matters. The Ray Gibson Show.
Oh, don't do the morning talk that matters thing. I can't take the pressure. We got a variety of topics that are fun to play around with, and very important too. And I'll try to get around to doing some of those before too much longer. So, welcome to the program. What did we get into last hour? The whole conversation about what's going on at the university and the search for the new president, which seems to be to everybody I've talked to something that is now in the world of it's a $140,000 botched job.
Man, we covered all the bases last hour.
Did we?
From the UOG president to barrels of cocaine. It's been a full show already.
I'm trying to think of how I want to riff on $2 million worth of tax refunds in the mail on Friday.
Oh, we should get creative with that one.
It's that it's going out on Friday, right?
Tomorrow, that's what they say.
Yeah, so the money out tomorrow, and people aren't going to get it into their hands probably until Monday. Yeah. So it gives them time to make sure there's money in the account that it's written on.
Use the credit card on the weekend. You pay for it next week.
Yeah. That's the way I would do it, personally. Anyway, so take a look at the clock here. 7:16. Jerry Roberts and the extra points coming up in just a couple of minutes. But first, I got to tell you what's going on in the market. Shall I start with the good news or the bad news? Call it. What do you want? Good news or bad news?
Oh, I'd start it with the bad. That way we leave them with a smile.
$81.01 for a barrel of Tapas crude. $81 and a penny for the Tapas crude. It had gone. It had dropped from 80.94 yesterday to 80.18. Today it is 81.01. It is just a matter of time. I am on fumes today,
right?
And today is the day that I put gasoline in the car, and I pray, my fingers are crossed that the lady over at the 76 doesn't change the number until after I put gasoline in the car next week.
And tomorrow I do my filling up. Now, since I put gas in last time, which, by the way, was not enough, so now I've got to go ahead now. My budget has to go up to...
that's what the E stands for. Enough.
Yeah, clearly.
This F is finished, and E is enough.
Well, mine is almost enough.
It's almost enough.
Yeah. So now my budget goes up to 40 every 2 weeks because 20 won't get it done.
Yeah.
Even just living from Oka, Payless to here.
Yeah, back and forth.
I really don't go anywhere else. Thank goodness.
Well, you can always use the bus. Yeah, right. Okay, so anyway, that's the bad news there. West Texas crude trading at about $71.84. The good news is, if you got any money in the stock market, the market's all closed in the green today. It ain't big green, but green is green. The Dow Jones at 24,886, up by 52 points. NASDAQ at 7425, they're up by 47 points. And the S&P 500 closed at 2733, and that's up by just under 9 points there on the trades that we see there. The Asian markets are going to open in the red this morning. Nikkei is at 22,689. Hang Seng is off by 568 points, and the Shanghai Index is off by 45. So we'll see if the markets are able to rebound. If you've got anything that's indexed to those, I might still have one of these equity programs that is linked to the Nikkei, and I probably have made tens of dollars in with that particular investment. I know I've got one that's linked to gold, and gold's not doing so bad. $1,293 for an ounce of gold. You want to buy silver? It's a whole lot cheaper. $16.47. They're off by about 10 cents in worth of trading on that one. A couple of things before we get to Jerry Roberts and Extra Point, if you don't mind. The Department of Labor's American Job Center Labor Clinic for Business has announced what they're going to be working on the first couple of weeks in June. On the 12th, harassment in the workplace, and on the 14th, it's going to be UOG SBDC how-tos on developing a small business, and the programs that are designed to get entrepreneurs and folks in the business game a little bit more up to speed. Things change pretty rapidly, especially where it comes to services and financing that might be available from the federal government. So always check on those opportunities when they pop in. Harassment in the workplace. This is going to be it's 2018. This is the Me Too generation time. Everything is harassment, and you'd better learn how this works. If you've got people that work with anybody that is of the opposite gender, well, I don't even know if that makes it any difference anymore. As people just get ticked off for everything, and we'll talk about a hostile workplace environment.
Don't we get to decide our gender on a day-to-day basis now?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And today, I'm a pickle. I'm a pickle boy.
I can't even follow that.
You flip a coin to decide which bathroom you go in, or what?
So there's that. There's the Guam Chamber of Commerce has got a small business management series event. Responsible leaders. Guest speaker on that one is going to be Toshi Ito. If you want information on that, call your friends over at the Chamber, and they'll let you know how you might get tickets to that particular event. It's 20 minutes after 7 o'clock in the morning, and I've killed enough time. It's time for the real professional in the room, Jerry Roberts, to do the Extra Point.
Are you a positive thinker, or does the mere term positive thinking make your toes curl up? I'm Jerry Roberts, and let's dig into why some people are so positively negative about positive thinking. Today, on the Extra Point. There are thousands, no, millions of books, videos, courses, and blog posts that are constantly pounding away that we should use more positive thinking in our lives, that positive thinking will help us achieve more and be happier. We try and try, but alas, the negativity seeps through anyway. Disillusionment takes over, and eventually there is a backlash against positive thinking. I Googled the term, why are people so negative about positive thinkers? Here's some of what was on the first 2 pages of results. Why positive thinking is bad for you. At work, negative thinking is better than positive thinking. It's time to end our obsession with positive thinking. How positive thinking creates more problems than it solves. When positive thinking becomes delusion, positive thinking is a lie. 7 reasons why positive thinking will ruin your life, and the positive power of negative thinking. If I didn't know better, I'd say we are pretty negative about positivity. What I don't get is that almost all of us consider ourselves positive thinkers. I've asked people in training classes, do you consider yourself to be a positive thinker? Everybody's hand goes up. 100% positive thinkers. Then, on a break, do you believe what the governor is doing? What is wrong with this ridiculous legislature? Bosses are clueless. The woman at the desk next to me must not have a sense of smell. She has to be wearing half a bottle of perfume every day. I need a gas mask to work in that place. Given a choice, most people prefer to talk about other people instead of the big ideas that could lead to a better future for all of mankind. So, are you fed up and think positive thinkers need a 12-step program? Hello, I'm Jerry Roberts, and I'm a positive thinker. Hi there, Jerry Roberts. Welcome to the group. We're going to fix that for you. Okay, we're having fun here. But there's a point to be made. We may make fun of endlessly positive people, but we also envy them, even if we don't want to admit that. And if you're a leader of a team, you have to be positive, because people, even negative people, will not follow negativity for long. They need to see the upside to where you're leading them, or they won't want to go. And of that, I'm positive. That's the Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3, I'm Jerry Roberts.
You know, that was a good punchline. I'm just going to leave that there. Anything that does not add to the punchline takes away from it. Good job, Jerry. For details, GuamTraining.com. We'll be right back.
Are you a homeowner looking to save money on your power bill? Ever thought about getting solar on your roof? If the answer is yes, Micronesia Renewable Energy will install a solar energy system on your roof for zero money down, so you can save money on your power bill. Sign up in the month of May, and MRE will pay you $400 in cash. That's right. In the month of May, get a solar energy system on your roof, and MRE will pay you $400 just for signing up. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Must be time for traffic. Let me take a look at the gizmo and see what it's telling me right now. I've got a line of traffic going into and coming out of the Anderson Air Force Base front gate. So I've got, actually mostly southbound from there, and it is beginning to slow down some traffic here. If you're traveling towards the intersection of Marine Corps Drive and Route 3, that is beginning to slow down as well. Traffic coming off of Route 3 onto Marine Corps Drive is beginning to build up, and my guess is in the next few minutes it's going to be a little bit more pronounced than it is right now. A little bit of traffic building over on Route 8, but not near the intersection. Actually, it's a little bit closer to Mighty on the way in over at that Cars Plus area. Traffic generally can tend to congest there in a little bit. Coming out of Agana and into Agana up to Navy Hospital, a little bit of a snag there as the traffic is beginning to build. Nothing else to tell you about. If you got an accident in front of you or police are driving very, very fast in one direction or another, let me know about it. 888-8255. In the meantime, that's right now traffic.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
So there's a guy that plays the musical instruments at Townhouse Music and at the Agana Shopping Center. That's exactly what it sounds like. This guy's one of these guys that just pick up any instrument and just make it sound like, you're in an L.A. recording studio. Sweet stuff here. 888-8255 is the way you get a hold of me. You can also reach me on Facebook Live, as folks will do. Good morning, June Bells. Nice to see you there, Chilorna. And Corina Gutierrez Ludwig and John Wigston online. And Tiloli Kemet is on the line. Juanita Gogui Cruz and Rene Lau. Jerry Leon Guerrero, not that one, the other one. Amanda Shelton, that one. Larry Valencia is on. Roland Torres, Pete Guerrero. Thanks for the links, Pete. I appreciate you sending those. Brenda St. Nicholas and Melissa Salas Akimoto, and there's more and more and more. I see John Fernandez is there. John's going to call up in a little bit and wish the students of the Department of Education a happy summer. Today is their, never been more appropriate, that sound effect. This is it for the GDOE students. It is the last day of school, unless you're one of the lucky ones that gets to go to summer school because you flunked. Huh? Isn't that great? No, it's not. I did that. Ramona White Longa is listening in Hinesville, Georgia. Actually, no, I guess that's pronounced Hinesville. I like mine better. Thanks very much for spending some time online with us. It's you can talk to each other in there. There's side chats that go on in the Facebook Live thing all the time. You can also use it if you want to make a request on what to talk about. Romeo Carlos, who is posted on Facebook this morning. It's a picture of me, a picture of Jay Dean, and I don't like what you did with the picture of Jay Dean because you covered up her lips. And I'm not saying that's the defining quality. I'm just saying I think there was you could have put the banner in a different spot. She gets pretty in the face, and you got me in there, and you got and I forget what it is, but he's talking about making reference to my line that the conversation that took place between Jay Dean and this guy in the Rodriguez camp, and then on to Dennis Rodriguez. My contention that it's a hoax. It didn't take place. There's no guy in the middle yet. He hasn't been identified. He hasn't come out of whatever closet he is in to say, "Yep, I'm the one. It happened." And until such time as he does, I'm going to contend that the whole thing is a hoax perpetrated in the mind of my cousin Troy. So that's what. So anyway, he's got that thing. But he's asking me to talk about how broke GovGuam is and needed a tax hike on our backs so that Adelup could hire even more well-paid hacks to sit around and do nothing except wait to vote in exchange for that paycheck. To do, as he says, nothing. Well, it's we're not talking about the unskilled folks. These are people that have to be able to navigate the World Wide Web. They've got to be able to find the point on the web, point.gu, not the point.com, so that they can make sure that the votes are appropriately lined up for whatever their gudzu or their gudzu's issue is. What have I got? We've got a poll at the point.gu. Should Government House become a rehab center?
Yeah, how's that going?
It doesn't have anybody's name in it.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. I should have made it so so that it had all 4 Democrat teams and Ray Tenorio. If I'd have done that, we'd be getting more answers on this.
Right.
But it's not. It's not. No absurd notion is the #1 answer at 80%. And 2 or 3 people from the Rodriguez camp chimed in and said, yes, it's a brilliant idea, because that's the idea that he had popped over at the Rotary Club. Oh, do we know who's speaking at the Rotary Club today?
I don't, but I think it's one of the political candidates. We should give Phil a call over at...
Or my brother.
Yeah.
There's guys. Okay, so if you're in the Rotary Club of Vagania, Rotary Club of Guam, the Old Man's Club, hit me up on the Facebook or the WhatsApp and let me know if they've already put it in the bulletin who is going to be speaking at Rotary today. 7:29 in the morning. And I promised I'd tell you this. If you are looking for a job, and I might take them up on this. I might take them up on this opportunity. The guys over at Pacific Islands Club have got a position open for clubmate. What do you say? Poor Kevin. He's got that.
Too old for that.
No, Kevin. It's 2000. I just did that thing from the Department of Labor about harassment, right?
Yeah.
And they cannot say to you or me or Mike.
Yeah.
They can't say that you're too old for the job.
Yeah,
that's
actually
age
applied
discrimination,
over there,
right?
So I should go reapply.
That it would be age discrimination if we were to go and apply for the job and they turned us down. They got part-time, full-time, summer hire positions for clubmate over at the Pacific Islands Club.
And leave this gig?
No, we can do it. What do you do on the weekends? What do you do on the weekends?
Sleeps.
Right?
It's his only chance to sleep.
Quitters? All right, fine. It's 7:31 in the morning. Here's a no fun allowed Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post with this morning's headlines.
Have a day and good morning, Guam. News Chime here at The Point, 31 minutes past 7 a.m. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, the tax increase that took effect in April has brought in some more money to GovGuam. DOA Director Edward Byrne confirming that an additional $3 million in BPT revenue has been recorded for the month of April so far. That after the 1 percentage point increase in the tax took effect on April 1st. However, Byrne cautioning that it's a very preliminary number and it may increase in the next few days. He said they're still reconciling the receipts. John Camacho, the Director of Rev and Tax, has previously estimated that a 1 percentage point increase in the BPT would bring in between $4.5 to $5 million additional dollars in revenue each month. Guam Police Department, U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency, not yet able to say just where all that cocaine that's washed up recently on our shores has come from, nor could they say whether they think the 3 separate cases are connected. Chinese characters were found written on some of the bricks of cocaine seized in March from the shoreline near the Hawaiian Rock Quarry. There's been speculation that the cocaine originated in China, but during a news conference at GPD headquarters in Tianjin yesterday, GPD Chief Joseph Cruz said they can't yet say for sure, but they may be able to pinpoint where it was grown once the drug has been analyzed by the DEA. Edward Talbot, the resident DEA agent for the Marianas, said the DEA is working closely with the Guam Police Department to learn more. Since March, 39 pounds of cocaine in all, valued at nearly $1 million, has been seized by authorities after reportedly washing ashore along Guam's rugged east coast. 46-year-old Sherwin Ramos Cruz charged in Superior Court yesterday on allegations that he sexually assaulted a 5-year-old girl known to him. The incident reported to police Monday by the victim's mother, who said her daughter complained of pain in her groin when she picked her up on Sunday from a Jigo residence. According to the magistrate's report, the girl alleged that Cruz sexually assaulted her and told her to keep it a secret. The court record states Cruz admitted to the allegation. He's been charged with first-degree criminal sexual conduct with a special allegation involving an assault on a vulnerable victim. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
Roger that. iConnect time in the studio is, what time did I say it was? 7:33? Almost 7:34. Connect longer for less with iConnect's push-to-talk and mobile plans.
Chili's Smokehouse menu just got tastier with their new smoked honey chipotle short ribs, marinated and smoked for hours. Try the smoked honey chipotle short ribs and chicken combo, or enjoy the family combo with mouth-watering honey chipotle short ribs, Texas-sized baby back ribs, crispy chicken, and juicy barbecue chicken served with home-style French fries and corn on the cob. It's the Chili's Smokehouse menu, now with smoked honey chipotle short ribs, available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
Portions of the program brought to you by Security Title, when you absolutely need confidentiality in your real estate transactions.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time isn't wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
Portions of the program also brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes.
Circle K has just made it easier to select products that are better for you and your healthier lifestyle. When looking for items that are low carb, low sodium, low calories, low sugar, high in antioxidants, or high in protein, just look for the easy to spot better for you labels so you can find these items at a glance. Come by and see for yourself. It has never been more convenient to fill up on anything and everything that are better for you. Circle K. Take it easy.
Is there traffic again? Let me look and see in the traffic gizmo. Things seem to clear up over at the Anderson Air Force Base front gate. Doesn't look like it's picking up anywhere. Last day of school today, and I think a lot of folks are just taking their time through it and not fussing about anything. It's usual spots have got traffic building, but I don't see any place where it's actually slowing down. Let me see if I can zoom in on Army Drive here. Route 16. Yeah, might see a little bit of congestion on that turn that takes you from Route 16 and the overpass underpass onto Route 10 Alpha to go by the gas station or Papa's or make your way down to Home Depot, beginning to thick up a little bit through there, and maybe a little bit of traffic over by Malakuti's place on Route 16 as well. It's 7:36. That's right now traffic here on The Point.
So you want to buy a house, but you don't know how much you could borrow. So what do? Well, you come to Bank Pacific and get pre-qualified. Sit down with one of our home loan specialists and let us see how much we can lend you so you know how much you can spend on your new home. Bank Pacific, where we're open to closing your loan in a hurry.
Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Equal housing lender, conditions apply. Come pre-qualified today.
Oh, this is awesome. This has actually happened before. Where I'm at, this place, it's a deja vu moment just at a different radio station. And I can't remember why I had the two of them on together, but I did. So first thing I'm going to do is I've got Beck on one line, I got John Fernandez on the other. Let me bring up the superintendent of the Department of Education with a special announcement for all of the students of the Guam Department of Education school system.
Have a day, Ray.
Hey, good morning. What's your special announcement for the kids?
Well, this is actually an announcement for the whole community. The kids probably have already known this day was coming, but today's the last day of school for...
Got to throw the appropriate sound effect in there. That's the noise you're going to be hearing at schools all over the island today.
Absolutely, and do you have one for the teachers as well?
Same one.
Our teachers have a couple extra days to wrap up the school year. But for the most part, when the students are end the day today, that really marks the ending of the school year. And I want to thank the kids and the teachers and the staff, our school principals for another successful year. And just let these kids know, enjoy your summer, be safe.
Yeah.
And for those seniors, we wish you every success in your next steps to college or into the workforce. So I just want to wish everybody a happy day. And all the drivers out there, the buses are there. Kids are excited to go home. Let's be safe today. Let's make this a great end of the school year.
Well,
call in to say that, Rick.
And I appreciate you doing that. And naturally, while I've got you on the line, just a quick question. Yesterday, the bill requiring compulsory education up to the age of 18 left the legislature, headed to the governor's office, and I don't see any indication, any reason why he might veto that. Is that something that is going to require a little bit of reconfiguration of GDOE resources if it becomes law?
Well, I'm really, really excited about that because I think with the passage of this bill, I am sure that in the budget discussions, there will be more resources available to take care of the needs that we'll have. So we look forward to having that discussion in June.
Well put.
Making sure that we can carry that law out effectively. But we've been in discussion with the Senator St. Augustine, and we just said, look, we're going to have to make sure a resource to take care of that obligation. But it's the right thing to do to make sure our kids have every opportunity to graduate. We just need to make sure we're deploying our resources effectively to do so.
Right. Now as it becomes compulsory, 16 was the age where you could basically opt out of the system and do whatever you wanted with your life if you could. Do we have any specific numbers on how many students might have taken the opportunity to opt out and now will be staying in the system?
I'd like to say that we would anticipate probably around 200 students more over that. So we'll see. I'll have to update those numbers. We did that for the testimony that provided several months ago. So I think the issue with the students is not necessarily the numbers, but more about, there are students who were probably challenged and not succeeding in school. So what I'm really worried about is making sure we're able to provide the necessary interventions so that they're not just hanging around an extra 2 years in school and failing. So that's the biggest concern, helping our teachers and staff to so we'll work with the legislature and the governor to make sure that we can address those needs as well.
Because I remember when this came up several years ago, when this was a bill under then Senator Frank Uggan. Well, he's still Senator Frank Uggan, but he had proposed a measure like this, and there were a number of teachers that came forward and expressed their reluctance because they were concerned about having a student in the class that did not want to be there and being disruptive to the rest of the classroom community. So, are you thinking that in 2018 there might be, as you pointed out, other intervention processes that we could take these kids out of a classroom that they're disrupting and put them someplace where they're going to be less disruptive to the system?
Well, one of the things that we've done with the J.P. Torres Success Academy, looking at credit recovery models where we can focus in on those kids who have fallen behind and try to make sure that if they're committed to it, we can help them overcome that obstacle. Mm-hmm. So I know that we're completing our federal grant application for the coming year, and in that grant, we've dedicated more resources to try to expand, those options. So, maybe that's one way to do it. Sometimes these kids are, start out their high school and are not successful in their first couple of years, and that kind of, lays down a path towards dropping out. But we know that some of the kids recommit. They say, well, look, we got to change our ways. Mm-hmm. We got to find a way to get back on track. And so we're looking at different ways to do that. So that'll be our focus for those who have fallen behind.
And I know you got. I'm sure you got someplace else to be, but I indulge me this. I've got Becky on the line, and Beck wants to run in real quick with a PSA. But before you do that, Beck, do me a favor, and because we've done this before, it's moving into the summertime. You're a teacher in the school system. Here's your superintendent. What are some of the things that you'd like to see in your classrooms at your school when you go back in for the 2018-2019 school year?
Well,
hi, Becky.
Hi. Actually, it's not a PSA. I actually have a comment about change in rules and regs that I'd like to talk about.
Okay, well, we'll get to that. But you've got an opportunity now with the superintendent.
I'm still working on. I would like a small lab for Chromebooks where I could get my kids on the computer without having to drag computers and put them in a bin and carry them over back and forth or fight. No, you can't do this computer time because somebody else is there, or there's not enough battery life to last.
Hey, listen, Becky. You put that request out there. We may have some funds left over in our federal funds for this coming year, so we'll put that on our list, and hope we can provide some of that support for you.
Love it, because I'd love to do the reading program that I know the department has looked at for younger kids, the Smarty Ants, and Achieve 3000 for the older kids, but without having consistent access to the computers, it's so hard.
No, absolutely. So if I could just wrap it up, and I'll let I know Becky can talk further, and I probably understand. I think this probably want to talk about the reclassification change that's been proposed. Well, let me just, if I could just.
I do have one question for you about board meetings. When do they take in the folder that you can sign in? Because I came about 8 minutes before the meeting, and there was no folder to sign in for public comment, so I was unable to do it on Tuesday. I'm just curious.
Well, it's usually right before the board meeting. So what I'll make sure that if there's that concern, I'll make sure that it's taken just as the board meeting starts, because it's usually up front on the agenda is when it's taken in. But let me just say a couple of things. One, Becky, appreciate the request that you made. I've actually been talking to Deputy Joe Sanchez about the need to really ramp up the voice of teachers and how we develop our curricular plans and strategies. So he's committed to doing that over the coming year, really working with teacher leaders and department chairs just throughout the system. So we're going to work on that. So look forward to that, please, and participate and see, make sure you hold us to that task. And on the second thing, just to let you know, I'll let you go ahead and make your point on the radio. But with regard to the rule change, I just want everyone to know that we do listen at the Department of Education. That may not have been the way in the past, but as you've seen through the budget process and the attendance areas, and I think you'll see with this reclassification discussion that when there's time for input, we don't have any decisions that are pre-made already. We're really listening. So I appreciate all the things that you've done and we're going to put forward to your colleagues, the fellow members of the Guam Federation of Teachers. We do listen, and there are things that we're reconsidering already once we get all the input. So I just want to thank you and encourage you to continue to speak on behalf of you and your colleagues as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to do my little...
Yeah, you do yours. I'm gonna let John. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you, and I appreciate you spending some time on the phone with Beck. As I said, it's always nice when I can get John Fernandez on with a teacher, and especially this one here, who I've known and loved for many years.
Hello, sir.
Hey. So you're welcome. What was it that we were going on about?
Well, the reclassification issue, and for me, it really doesn't have a personal effect for me because I will never be reclassified. I'm too close to retirement to reclass. I'm not going for a PhD. Thank you very much. But the issue is that when teachers reclass now, they have it so that twice a year you can put in and say, hey, I've got an advanced degree, I've got a master's degree. Can I reclassify to a higher step? And being reclassified means you get more money, which is good because you've just shelled out a lot of money for your master's degree, and you need to pay back those loans.
I remember this. The concept is familiar to me. Yes.
Yeah. So the issue now that they're talking about changing the rules and regs, first change is they'll only let you apply for reclassification, if I understand correctly, once a year. So if you are maybe graduating in December, that means that you have to wait until November to apply. And the reclassification, the pay raise wouldn't go into effect until the beginning of the next school year.
Why wouldn't it be retroactive to the time that you got that additional degree?
I don't know, and I don't see, I could miss it. I could have missed that, but I don't see that they've put in that it's retroactive. So
it seems to me that if you are eligible for reclassification based on an additional degree or additional certification or additional training, then regardless of when you put the paperwork in or regardless of when it is granted, it should be retroactive to the moment that you became eligible for it.
And I think so too.
Do you want me to run your union? I'll fix that. I can fix that in 20 minutes.
And then the next thing, though, that really is worrisome to me is that it says there pending available funds.
Blah!
So they can just say, sorry, no funds.
Yeah.
And you've just put thousands and thousands of dollars into getting an advanced degree and have no chance of getting the slight pay bump that we
Yeah, that part I don't. It's difficult to control that because it's difficult to watch the spend in the government of Guam and understand where everything is going, and whether or not we've got money at any given time to support all of these things. I personally think that there's a whole lot of infrastructure and red tape in between the teachers and what they're supposed to be doing and getting compensated for, and the top of the leadership. It seems to me that we've got to shift the focus a little bit more. I mean, and honestly, in terms of pay and resources, back to the classrooms and less on the administrative side. I get that there has to be administration of something as large as a school system here on Guam, but the money doesn't ever seem to be able to trickle to the teachers and the students.
And it's frustrating because for me, looking at young teachers coming up who want to hone their craft, who want to come into the system, this is a disincentive. And to add to that, we know we need teachers, and we continue to need teachers every year. So the last thing we need to do is disincentivize the teaching career, profession here on Guam.
Well, you remind me about something. Is my nephew just got his master's. I mean, just like over the weekend, got his master's. So the question that I've got is, now that so he's got this here, he won't be able to apply for reclassification until what? November, you said?
Well, if these rules and regs are changed, that would be the process. Yes, if I understand correctly.
All right. Well, let me chase this around a little bit more. I think the other thing that is frustrating is you guys are watching the teachers strike in Arizona, going, "Wow, it'd be nice if we could do that here."
Yeah, but we can't strike.
No, I know. Like I said, you want me to fix it?
This is my way of striking. Is to say, let's put it out there. And like I said, this doesn't personally affect me, other than I look at the teachers coming in, and I want to know that when I retire that they're good, well-qualified people coming in behind me, and it just is mind-boggling for me.
I understand. I wish you luck. We'll work on it. Maybe I'll get a few more teachers on the line. Maybe we'll get a couple of guys from the union on the line and see what they've got to say.
Cool, Miss Thanks.
Where's Matt? Where's Matt Rector? Matt Rector would be all over this, right?
Who knows? I think everybody should be all over this.
All right, I'll talk to you pretty soon. 10 away from 8 o'clock in the morning. Always nice to get Becky on the line, talk about all of that. I was expecting a PSA about, but maybe it turned into a different kind of a public service kind of deal. Because there's something to think about. Is if there is a disincentive of this nature, then what eventually happens when we don't have enough teachers in the classrooms? Well, I don't think we have enough teachers in the classrooms now. Anyway, 888-8255 is the telephone number. I was riffing on something that Romy and I were bantering about in the online. He wanted me specifically to talk about the additional hiring that's been going on in the government of Guam, even in the midst, it says, of this fiscal crisis that we've got. The folks over at the governor's office, the $100,000 Glee Club there, have sent out a fact-checking memorandum to members of the media, basically trying to correct the news article aired by KUAM claiming that the executive branch has spent $6 million on new hires. According to this press release, that is false. The fact is the executive branch has reduced personnel costs from $4.2 million to the $3.9 million a pay period as of April. That comes to an anticipated savings about $3 million for the remainder of the fiscal year. There were people hired within the fiscal year to fill vacancies created when employees separated from the government, whether it was through retirement, termination, or other reason. The federal tax cuts was signed into law in late December, creating a shortfall in the general fund following a passage. Yada, yada, yada. We already know about that. Basically, what they're saying is the article, the story that, who's the guy? Chris Barnett had written and posted at KUM, and I think today he's got a video version of it. I think he's going to be posting up the video story that will have footage and I suppose some interviews with people. That's supposed to be going up today. So if that was one of the things that got your ire up yesterday, was hearing about an additional bunch of people that were getting, I think it was 123 people that got hired right around the same time that we were talking about this great fiscal crisis. And if that ticked you off, the response from the governor's office is, no, that's untrue. It is false, is what they're saying. which, yeah, that's exactly what I think they'd say. What? Chris Barnett, right? Impossible, impossible. That's not the way it works. So you get to play around with that one. Maybe I'll read a little bit more of what she said in there and see what they've got to say. 7:53 is the current time here in the studio. There's a few other items on the table of contents that I wanted to go over, and I want to make. If you ever get through a day and I don't mention a bust that was affected by just plain old good police work, just guys in a squad car, in uniform, gun and a badge, watching, observing on the streets. And there's a story today about a policeman who pulls over a woman. I guess he was stalled at an intersection or something like that. So cop goes in and pulls the lady over to the side, and she's sweating profusely, which is cop talk for "you're on ice." The lady is, people get nervous when they're pulled over by the cops. I get nervous when I'm pulled over by the cops, even if it's just hey Ray, I need to find Shelley. What's the number? That happens every once in a while. So you get nervous, right? And so, but I don't sweat profusely just because I have been pulled over by the police. Apparently, that's one of those things that ICE does, is it makes you sweat profusely in the presence of a police officer, because that line is in almost every single story that I've read involving a policeman pulling somebody over that's on ice. Anyway, so the guy pulls over this meth head lady, and come to find out she's sweating profusely because she's got ice in the car. She's got the paraphernalia. She's got some stuff that tested presumptively for crystal methamphetamine. Yeah, and that explains that particular phenomenon, doesn't it? Poor woman. Yeah, right. And then come to find out that she was on probation. She was out driving around, gallivanting, and doing her ICE thing while she was on probation, I think, on another ICE charge. So here's the thing. I say God bless you to the men and women in blue that it's not like they were out looking for the bad guy. It's not like they were out looking for the meth head. They pulled somebody over, and there was meth in the car. And she was on probation for already having a meth crime in her. So keep that police work up. Keep doing what it is that you guys are doing out there, and keep arresting those people pulling folks over. I think maybe there ought to be a thing. I tried this when I tried to push it up when what's his name, Fred Berdalio, my cousin, was the chief of police. I said, hey Freddie, you know what we ought to do is just have random pullovers. Just, the same way that you do these things at, on Friday night to try to catch drunks.
Yeah.
Right? So we just do it like 9 o'clock in the morning somewhere. And just every third car gets pulled over.
There you go. See, that would get it done. I never would condone drug usage, but I have to admire the Guamanian drug addicts' pursuit of perfection. I mean, they keep trying it over and over and over.
Again. Yeah, I've already been busted for this. Maybe this time it'll stick. Maybe this time. And my guess is that we would probably, if we looked hard enough, and when I say we, I mean you, if we looked hard enough for stories just like this on other blotters all across the country, because crystal methamphetamine is not a problem here. God, I had a conversation with somebody about this recently, and I don't understand. I've been at different places in the battle on ice over the years. I will tell you, going back to when Jerry Gutierrez was the lieutenant governor of Guam, and they brought us in, the courts brought a bunch of people from the media together, and we started talking about different things that we could do, and maybe there was a way that we could try to convince people that ice was bad for you. And at the time, it was a fairly new drug, and it was a new phenomenon. But here it is. I mean, that was back in the 90s, in 2018. And I cannot think of any one family that has not been affected by ice one way or another. Somebody, and there are whole entire families now that seem to be affected by it. There's a story of a lady that was allowed to go home by the judge because it was her birthday and she'd get a chance to see the family and all of this stuff. And she goes home to her family, bunch of ice heads, and they start smoking with her, and she's back in trouble with the law again. But it's just one of those things. I don't understand how people can see this over and over again and decide, hey, it's Saturday night. Let's go find some ice and see how badly we can destroy our lives. That's something that we've got to work on. And then there's just the other one. And every once in a while I'll get on a soapbox about this. But I believe that there, for some people in this community, way too much access to alcohol. Way too much access to alcohol. And it starts fairly early in the morning and can go very, very late at night. And so maybe I'll riff on that a little bit in the next hour of the program. We got to go real quick. You know what? Let me just see what I've got there. Ken, you have a nasty habit of calling just before the news.
Yeah. Well, the ultimate police doing their duty traffic stop was Timothy McVeigh. He blows up the federal building, and during his escape, he gets pulled over because he doesn't have a license plate on his car.
Unbelievable. And you know, it's a cop out there doing a cop job. There was another point that needed to get made. Oh, wait a second. Should we stop and wait until the anthem is over? I think somebody is near an armed forces base. Ken, give me a call back in the next hour, maybe 8:35 or so. We'll play around because there's a couple other things I wanted to talk to you about.
Okay.
Groovy. All right, Ray Gibson Show until it's not going to be anymore. I hear the music playing in the background. It's not the anthem, and so I guess we don't have to. Have you ever been on a base when the anthem starts playing? Whatever you're doing, you stop.
Yeah, they don't let me go on the base.
Oh, they don't know?
Yeah.
Really?
Ever since the incident in 87.
The incident. That wouldn't be the Two Lovers Point incident, would it?
No.
It's closing in, as I said, on 8 o'clock in the morning. The radio station is KUSG Agana. Fox News Live is coming up next. And the amazing Kevin Kerrigan with more news from the Guam Daily Post. That's all ahead right here.
The mic is on. I can hear you.
Tough talk to stop gang violence. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump in his home state of New York on Long Island for a roundtable discussion on the brutal gang MS-13, which has been blamed for at least 24 killings on Long Island in the past 2 years. The president with a warning for countries who don't help stop illegal immigration.
We're going to work out something where every time somebody comes in from a certain country, we're going to deduct a rather large amount of money from what we give them in aid, if we give them aid at all, which we may not just give them aid at all, because despite all of the reports I hear, I don't believe they're helping us one bit.
The president admits he's being tough, but says the change is needed to help dangerous gangs out of the country, to keep dangerous gangs out of the country. Arrests after more than 80 illegal immigrants from Mexico and South America discovered in the back of a tractor trailer in Texas. Fox's Steve Rappaport has this live.
Lisa, authorities took 2 suspected smugglers into custody after discovering the immigrants ranging from age 59 to 3, including some unaccompanied children. Acting Border Patrol Chief Carla Provost saying this incident is a drop in the bucket when it comes to human trafficking.
Between Laredo sector and the Rio Grande Valley sector, we've seen approximately 100 different incidents of tractor-trailer loads.
And the smugglers don't care about the people they transport.
The smugglers are treating these illegal aliens as if they are cargo, not human beings.
The case turned over to the Department of Homeland Security. Lisa?
Steve, the president's son-in-law and advisor, Jared Kushner, gets permanent security clearance.
White House officials have blamed the delay in Kushner receiving his security clearance on administrative backlogs, as well as the complicated nature of his application. But Kushner's troubles were compounded, at least in part, because his initial security clearance application did not list dozens of foreign contacts that he later included in updated submissions to the FBI.
Fox's John Decker, fair and balanced.
Morico Equipment on EPOW Road is expanding. Morico now requires a dynamic individual with proven sales skills to join their heavy equipment parts sales team to do outside parts sales to new and existing customer accounts. A commission package, Morico vehicle, phone, and laptop are on offer. While sales experience is preferred, applicants must be highly self-motivated with excellent communication and time management skills and able to use Microsoft Word and Excel. Apply on MoricoEquipment.com. Morico Equipment LLC is now an employee-owned company.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
the sound of great music,
The Grammy goes to...
and the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
The NFL clarifies its policy when it comes to players and the national anthem.
The new national anthem policy approved by a majority of NFL owners Wednesday will keep protests in the locker room. The policy will subject teams to a fine if a player or any other team personnel show disrespect during the Star-Spangled Banner by sitting or kneeling like we've seen over the past 2 seasons, but gives the option to stay in the locker room until after the anthem if they do not wish to stand. Owners seeing it as the best possible compromise short of an edict requiring every player to stand. This replaces previous NFL policy which required them to be on the field and suggested they stand at attention for the national anthem. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Police in New Jersey say former Major League Baseball All-Star Lenny Dykstra put a gun to an Uber driver's head when the driver wouldn't change the trip's destination. The 55-year-old charged with making terroristic threats and drug offenses. He's due back in court next month. More lawsuits filed in the fight over the 10 Commandments on state property in Arkansas.
There's a fight to remove a 10 Commandments display installed on the Arkansas State Capitol grounds last month. Opponents filing federal lawsuits to have it removed, arguing it an unconstitutional endorsement of religion by government. A 2015 law required Arkansas to allow the privately funded monument, which was reinstalled after the original version was destroyed by a man who crashed his car into it. The 6,000-pound granite display is now flanked by 4 concrete barriers. The Arkansas monument is a replica of a display at the Texas Capitol that was upheld by the U.S. Supreme Court in 2005. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
The former fiancé of late NFL star Aaron Hernandez says she's expecting a baby. Shayana Jenkins Hernandez made the announcement on Instagram. She did not say who the father is or when she was due. Hernandez killed himself in prison last year. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
My mom is really great. She's as sweet as she can be. When I need some help, I know she's always there for me. My mom loves me all the time, even when I'm naughty. Thank you for all you do. Hugwai Sahau, Mommy.
For the entire month of May, stop by FHP Vision Center for 25% off sunglasses and 30% off lenses with ophthalmic frames. Receive an entry form to win a Coach Clutch pouch when you buy any Coach eyewear. Conditions apply. Happy Mother's Day, Guahan, from your friends at FHP.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Hey, it's your stomach again. Subway has all new signature wraps, and around the water cooler, the other stomachs can't stop talking about them. Chipotle Southwest Steak and Cheese, Turkey, Bacon, and Guac, Rotisserie-style Chicken Caesar signature wraps. Listen, if I'm honest, as a talking stomach, I don't have a lot of life experience. But I do know one thing. These signature wraps are jam-packed with meat. So what are you waiting for? I'm growling over here. Subway, make it what you want.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 8 a.m. this Thursday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. 7 bills headed to Adelup for the governor's signatures. Lawmakers wrapping up the May session yesterday afternoon with passage of a number of new measures, including Senator Regine Bisco-Lee's bill banning the use of most plastic bags by January 1st, 2021. It cleared the session hall yesterday on a vote of 14-0. Senator Luis Muñoz's breast cancer screening bill also winning unanimous approval yesterday. It requires health insurance providers to cover the cost of one baseline mammogram for all women between the ages of 35 and 39, and then provide coverage for an annual mammogram thereafter. Vice Speaker Therese Terlahi winning passage of her measure to establish a driving while impaired treatment court. The bill meant to support the judiciary's current efforts to reduce recidivism for medium and high-risk offenders by implementing a therapeutic treatment program for addiction and rehabilitation. The Chamorro Land Trust Commission wants to assure all current lessees that no changes have been implemented yet, even though they've suspended the award of any new leases. Commission Chairwoman Pika Fearon yesterday issuing a release saying that the CLTC is still reviewing all the leases that have been granted. She said that any decision to modify existing leases will be communicated directly to the leasee in an open and transparent process, she said. Fearon also said the CLTC will continue to entertain current applicants who wish to update their files or lessees who may need assistance with specific matters such as utilities and survey authorizations. Leaseholders and applicants are encouraged to contact the CLTC if they have any questions. We'll have more news after this.
Howdy, folks. Can't get enough of my KFC Smoky Mountain Barbecue? I'm bringing more to Guam this month with my new KFC Smoky Mountain Grilled Barbecue Chicken. KFC's chicken coated with a sweet and smoky barbecue sauce. Oh, and by the way, Smoky Mountain Barbecue is still available on KFC's Extra Crispy Chicken and boneless strips. KFC, it's finger licking good.
Manila, Osaka, Fukuoka.
Dreaming about your next vacation? With the FHB United Mileage Plus credit card, you can get 10% off on United Airlines flights from Guam to Manila, Osaka, or Fukuoka when you book your ticket by May 31. Book your flight on United.com at a United City ticket office or your local travel agency using promo code FHB18M. Visit FHB.com/United Fair Sale 18 for more details. Terms and conditions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
11 minutes past 8 a.m. here at The Point. The Guam Police Department and the U.S. Drug Enforcement Agency are not yet able to say just where all the cocaine that's washed up on our shores recently has come from, nor could they say whether they think the 3 separate cases of cocaine being discovered are connected. Chinese characters were found written on some of the bricks of cocaine seized in March from the shoreline near the Hawaiian rock quarry. There's been some speculation that it came from China. But during a news conference at GPD headquarters in Teason yesterday, GPD Chief Joseph Cruz said they can't yet say for sure, but they may be able to pinpoint where it was grown once the drug has been analyzed by the DEA. Edward Talbot, the resident DEA agent for the Marianas, said the DEA is working closely with the Guam Police Department to learn more. Since March, 39 pounds of cocaine in all, valued at nearly $1 million, has been seized by authorities after reportedly washing ashore along Guam's rugged east coast. The Guam Supreme Court has rejected the governor's request for a court order compelling the Guam legislature to forward the tax refund borrowing bill they passed last year to Adelup for his signature. Governor Eddie Calvo appealed to the High Court to tell the legislature to send the so-called Tran bill to his desk, but the legislature has refused. The bill authorizes a line of credit for Guam, which the governor wants to use to borrow money to pay tax refunds. Some lawmakers, however, countered that the administration should adhere to the law that requires GovGuam to regularly set aside money to pay tax refunds instead of borrowing for more. The High Court has decided, however, not to get involved in that dispute, ruling that it's not something to be decided by the judiciary, leaving it to the realm of politics. Finally, Guam Regional Medical City has closed a $155 million financing deal with Asian and North American institutional lenders. That according to a news release posted on the PR Newswire website. PI Capital International and Corsario Advisors advised GRMC on the financing deal. Transaction terms, however, have not been disclosed. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Here's Ray with some weather.
You know, I was going to say it's going to be hot today, but I just checked with a friend, Carl Pangilinan with a K, and Carl indicates it's hot already. Actually, he used another word in front of hot that I cannot use on the radio. Yeah, like that. It's hot now. It's going to be hot all day, and it's going to be warm tonight. Partly cloudy skies with isolated showers, and they aren't going to be heavy enough to cool anything down. East winds just to about 15 miles an hour, so not a lot of relief there. Daytime highs 89 degrees with a max afternoon heat index. It will feel like 101 degrees later on. Overnight lows of about 78 degrees. Now take a look at the weather map with you here on Facebook Live, and Michael Knight will tell you why we're seeing and feeling what we're feeling today.
Yeah, we've just got a lot of moisture, that tropical moisture building up as the season progresses towards the start of the stormy season. Getting some overhead jet action. That's what we see, these clouds that are actually going over Guam. Those are way up in the sky, and they're just not doing much of anything. Low-level moisture actually not real plentiful now, so just a few isolated showers here and there. And with the light winds, which are going to be picking up over the next few days, but today will be another one of those quiet days where the heat just gets to stay there. It just doesn't blow off. No relief.
It's just going to be hot and stay hot that way. Find the air conditioner. That's the goal here today. 8:15. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
Ready to buy real estate on Guam? Congratulations! But what now? There's so many questions, so many things to do. Where do you start? The best place to start is to call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty, Guam's biggest name in real estate. They aren't the best because they're the biggest. They're the biggest because they're the best. Trust the name. Find out why. Call Century 21 Commonwealth Realty today. 888-2121. Trust the best.
It's Meatloaf Thursday at King's. You know, they do a different local lunch special every single day, and I've been waiting for today because it's Meatloaf Day at King's. I got to check with those guys. Now, with the meatloaf, do they have an egg in it? Do they put an egg in their meatloaf? I'm an egg in the meatloaf guy, by the way.
Right, yeah. I don't know how meatloaf works. I don't know the science, but do you need that to, like, keep it together? You know, like, when you're baking bread.
No, I'm thinking, no,
like on top.
Like a whole egg.
I don't think they do.
Yeah. Because some folks do. Yeah, they'll put a whole egg in there.
Yeah, a boiled egg on the inside.
I think they leave that to the local moco.
There's nothing better than that.
I don't know.
No, you're talking now an egg on top.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you sunny side up an egg, and you put the gravy on it, and you've got the hamburger thing, and then
Would that be good on meatloaf?
Like, man, anything's good on meatloaf.
Like local moco
so meatloaf is basically just hamburger?
Right. No, I know. But I mean, there wouldn't be much difference, right? You just wouldn't have the rice. You just wouldn't have the rice. Okay.
So if you go and get meatloaf, say, can I have some gravy and an egg on this? And I'll say, why don't you just order the Loco Moco?
Yeah.
Because I want meatloaf, man.
Okay, never mind. Go tomorrow and have the Tanak Tak, would you? It's 8:16. That's lunch today at King's.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Security Title brings you portions of the program when you absolutely need confidentiality in your real estate transaction.
Stop by any Circle K today and overload your For Real. It's simple. Pick out your favorite For Real shake, blend it, and then mix and match any two toppings for only $1. Overload your For Real with a variety of sweet treats like Oreo cookies, gummy bears, classic M&Ms or peanut M&Ms, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Simply add them to your For Real shake for an overload experience and enjoy. For Real Overload, only available at participating Circle Ks. Circle K, take it easy.
The Ray Gibson Show, your new News Talk headquarters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
8:17 already on the clock. This morning is flying right past us. And you know why? It's because everybody's got something to look forward to. Everybody's got something to look forward to. It's the last day of school for GDOE students. I think there's still some Dodea out there, and I think that's got a bunch of people happy. See, now we were talking about the meatloaf, and now I'm getting recipes and stuff. We'll talk about that here in just a second. But let me just finish this thought. So at your house, there's a teacher.
Yes,
and she is excited about the last day for the students today, but there's still a couple of days worth of work for her, right?
Yeah, because I did not know today was the last day. Is she planning some kind of staycation that I don't know about? Because I didn't know. I've been wondering that all week. Because I'm like, when are these kids getting out of school? Why do I still see them at the bus stops?
My wife's still going to work every day.
Yes, yeah. Like, where's she going?
She didn't tell you?
No.
What else is she hiding from you?
I don't know. I don't know. No, I did not know that school ended this week. It does? Interesting. I gotta...
There's going to be a domestic in the news tomorrow. I just know it. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring it up that way.
Well, the thing is I got a, maybe she's distracted. I got a wedding, her cousin, her first cousin getting married this weekend, next weekend, one of the two. I don't know. I just show up when I'm told. And she's got family coming in from off island that she hasn't seen in a few years, like her other first cousins. You know, her first cousin who's getting married here, his siblings. And so she's very excited about that.
Weren't you at a wedding last week?
I was.
Like a Friday, you were commenting about being at the rare Friday night wedding.
It was the rare Friday night, April 20th wedding down south.
Okay, so not last
about
week.
A month away, yeah.
All right, still, you know what? You and I, we speak so infrequently. But on the so you find yourself going to a number of weddings. Is my point.
And I've also been to since then. I've been to a baby shower and maybe a gender reveal. Maybe.
Very nice.
Something like
Very
that.
Nice.
I'm at that age where, everybody around me, younger and older, are just, they're doing a lot of life-changing event things.
By the way, I'm going to do a gender reveal in a few days. So
I'm a pickle Rick. I'm Pickle Rick. My train of thought, gender reveals.
Yes.
For some listeners, we might need to explain this because it's...
True. Do we?
Well...
this is even new from I did not grow up growing up as a kid. I remember as a kid being bored at baby showers and stuff, but I don't ever remember gender reveals until the internet.
It's a new thing because I've been to one, and generally it is an imported thing, from our American brothers and sisters that find themselves on Guam when somebody is having a baby, and they have a gender reveal party, and now it's not just hey, the baby's going to be a boy or the baby's going to be a girl. There's always some convoluted mechanism to determine or to show the crowd what it's going to be. I think on Facebook there was one where there was a car that was smoking out, and the color of the smoke from the tires indicated the gender of the baby.
I watched a young guy. He looked like a teenager because just of his physical size, but he dunked a basketball and it blew up as I think it was blue. So when he dunked,
it's a boy.
Yeah, he's a big basketball player. So yeah, when he ran and dunked the basketball at his party, and when he exploded.
So I'm not saying this is a bad thing. We got to figure out a way that we can localize this a little bit more.
Well,
because this is a great excuse for young couples to be able to throw another party. Besides the shower, they can throw another party and get more gifts from their friends.
More money, more gifts, eat more food.
Exactly.
The dad can have a few more beers underneath the shade tree. But I will tell you this. So in Texas, they localized it. This is my. This is my ex-girlfriend. She is having a baby, and her new husband, they did their gender reveal because, again, they're Texans and they're hunters. So they did it with a bow and arrow.
Really?
Yeah, they stood like 20 feet and
at each other?
No, at the balloons. So I'm thinking that maybe if you put like a balloon on on a board and you had like a sling stone like they used to use in the ancient Chamorro, maybe that's an interesting out of the box localized way to do a gender reveal.
Could be that way. All right, so it's 8:21 and probably enough time has passed for me to say it's time for sports with Blake. And now, Here's Blake Watson.
So I wanted to say this. This is coming to us from a press release out of somewhere. Strong performance by an athlete that I've been watching for a while, Skylar Blue Johnson, former GW Gecko, former Simon Sanchez Shark in the IIWG high school girls soccer realm. She performed very well in a match against Singapore, a friendly, late last year with the women's national team here on island. And the efforts pay off as she will depart June 1st to join the Thunderbirds in the Northwest Athletic Conference as they defend their titles. Now, the Des Moines Washington College won its first ever Northwest Athletic Conference championship in November of last year. The, Des Moines Washington Thunderbirds?
Thunderbirds?
Highline College Athletic Thunderbirds, or the Highline College Thunderbirds. They were undefeated, 18-0. They tied twice, and they this all according to the Highline College Athletics website. The Thunderbirds needed extra time in their 1-0 victory, and that is where Skylar Blue Johnson will take her talents this year.
Congratulations!
Yeah.
So when the word Thunderbirds came out of your mouth, I wasn't. What's the sport?
Soccer.
Soccer.
Women's soccer. Women's collegiate soccer.
Last thing I thought of. You know what I thought of when you said Thunderbirds?
The Towns Van Zandt song?
No, roller derby.
Oh,
okay. Yeah.
Now there's a sport.
Oh yeah, roller derby. Whatever happened? Why? Why don't they do that
Didn't
anymore?
it come back? Didn't it come back?
I think they made a movie. I don't know if maybe. I don't know if they made a. I'm sure there's little leagues here.
There
and there.
actually was a women's roller derby league in Hawaii when I was there in the Kona area. All the big island towns fielded little teams, and it was quite exciting.
Oh, it's got to be.
We need a rink. We need a rink to skate that on.
How tough is that?
Well, we don't have one anymore, right?
No, they turned it into a grocery store.
Let's make the old horse track. What, dog track, horse track? We'll turn it into a big
I don't
rink.
know about that. I don't know if you can do something like that there. I mean, we're not talking about something that requires any more skill than the average carpenter has to make a roller derby. I mean, what is it made of wood, right?
Well, yeah, but you got to ramp it. There actually is a science to it. To a roller derby. Yeah,
there's a thing you can make a little jig so you can cut wood at an angle so that you've got the particular cant that you're looking for for the rink.
Okay, Ray, that's real simple. You think it would happen that way here?
Growing up, I grew up next to. I didn't know it was a big deal at the time.
That was the best way to kill a Saturday night was watching roller derby on TV.
They had a velodrome, which was like one of those big, like the big racing bikes, you know, that like go almost vertical.
I'll build one of those in 20 minutes.
And I used to look down that thing, and they used to have some roller derby exhibitions there. And I mean, it just was a straight drop.
But you've got the forces working.
Right,
so
the
when
centrifugal force.
Or centripetal. I can't remember which one it is. Kevin will tell me if I'm really, really nice. But you remember roller derby, right? When you were young?
Sure. Movies have been made about it. That's still happening.
Drew Barrymore, Chris Klein, and LL Cool J were in a movie about it.
Do you have? I mean, did you watch it though on television when you were? Because you and I aren't that far apart in age. I mean, that was a big time.
I used
on
to
TV.
skate.
Okay, so my recollection is nobody cared about the guy roller derby shows.
No,
it was all about the girls, right? With the knee pads and the little helmets.
And see, if you want to understand why I am the way I am, is because growing up in Houston as a child, every Sunday morning at about 8 o'clock, there would be roller derby, and at 9:30, Houston wrestling.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, man.
Nice little Houston
Oh,
wrestling.
sure, yeah. I mean, and that's back in the day.
The Von Erichs and all
the Von Erichs. That's back, of course, that's back when you had Andre the Giant, who was touring all the different,
he was on the circuit.
different ones.
He was on the circuit.
He showed up from time to time.
Find Carl Gutierrez.
Okay.
You can do it. You can find Carl
hard.
Gutierrez.
Yeah.
I mean, probably listen, Carl, if you're listening, 888-8255, 888-8255, because I got a question for you about 1970s wrestling on Guam.
Ray,
what?
I have the closest we can get is Australia. Adelaide, the roller derby showdown. The road train rollers, known as the Roadies, sent the Wild Hearses to the morgue with a triple-digit defeat.
Let's go.
And top team right now to beat is known as the Salty Dolls.
The Salty Dolls.
Salty Dolls, helmed by, let's see here, I don't know, something. Yeah, but anyway, Adelaide Roller Derby. Apparently, it says, before Ronda Rousey, the Adelaide Roller Derby was the main outlet for female athletes with a hankering for full contact competition.
We got chicks like that here.
I know. We have a tackle football league here
Exactly,
as well.
exactly.
Maybe
So take the ones that are there, teach them how to skate, and then we'll put them in the roller derby thing.
Yeah.
I think a great outlet for that
I think so, too. And this is going on down in Australia right now. So maybe we send people over there, send a delegation over there, see how they do it, then we'll send them back with some info.
Have them build us a rink. That's what I want. Just build us a rink. We've got all kinds of empty spaces around here that we could turn into, what are they doing with the old legislature, right?
Yeah.
Now that they moved out. Or we could put it in the new legislature. Right? So whenever the legislature is not in session, it's brilliant. This is a Dennis Rodriguez idea. We'll take the governor's house, and instead of making it a rehab center, we'll turn it into a roller derby rink.
Yes.
I mean, it's for the people.
I think so. And that way we can still keep the Christmas decorations
Right.
up.
So what do you got? Do you got any other sports, any local stuff? I don't know if Mike's able to find me. Is he not answering? Or is he answering? He's just talking to you. Hey, Mike, how's it going? Okay.
I do have this. I just wanted to pass this on really quick. It's not local, but it's just interesting to me because the ESPN does their World Fame 100 based on social media presence, endorsements, and just all-around internet searches of the name. We'll do the first 5, number 1 through 5. 5, Roger Federer, Ray.
Tennis guy.
As the
I
most,
recognize him.
yeah, part of ESPN's famous top athletes in the world. Number 4, Neymar from soccer. Real Madrid. Is that Real Madrid?
Yep.
No. It's Barcelona. FC of Barcelona. Lionel Messi, LeBron James, and Cristiano Ronaldo, who is from Real Madrid. Right? Yeah, Real Madrid.
And they're the top 5 most famous people?
Yep. And you know who did not...
Where's the women?
The women on that?
We just talked about Serena Williams yesterday.
She's number 12. Serena Williams is number 12. Now, she got beat out by Rafa Nadal, Tiger Woods, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, Phil Mickelson, and Virat Kohli, who is a cricket player. And what's really interesting about this, number 17 is a swimmer. Number 19, soccer. Number 20, cricket. Maria Sharapova, the second female to make an appearance at number 21. American baseball and hockey not in the top 100 at all.
Because it's American baseball and hockey.
We have ping pong. We have snowboarding. We have badminton. We have cricket. All of those have athletes in the top 100, but not baseball.
Not the baseball
and
one.
not
We have
hockey.
crickets.
No, he's talking about the
game.
Yeah, nobody cares about American baseball and hockey anymore.
He does because his team won last year.
Yeah, well, I've always cricket. I don't understand the game. Sorry, tried.
I've tried. Like people have explained rugby to me. Clueless.
So now, see, rugby, I can kind of actually understand.
There's people running around.
Cricket is way more popular worldwide than baseball. It is like it's like the international baseball outside of us.
Yeah. So if you just take the people that like cricket in India. And there's already more people there that like cricket in India than there are going to be liking baseball in the United States of America. It just is. Hey, look, I got to get you out of here. Don't you have an interview that you got to do, or did you already?
No, I got food waiting for me now across the hall.
Right on. Go do that. 8:30 in the morning. That's Blake Watson. It is the morning show over at Star 101. Coming up, headlines with Kevin Kerrigan. Next.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
With their new smoked honey chipotle short ribs, marinated and smoked for hours. Try the smoked honey chipotle short ribs and chicken combo, or enjoy the family combo with mouth-watering honey chipotle short ribs, Texas-sized baby back ribs, crispy chicken, and juicy barbecue chicken served with home-style French fries and corn on the cob. It's the Chili's Smokehouse menu, now with smoked honey chipotle short ribs, available for a limited time. Chili's, more life happens here.
Studio time, 8:31, and it's time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam News Time here at The Point, 31 minutes past 8 a.m. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, Guam police have announced they've arrested Jesse Jose and Nicholas Delgado. GPD spokesman Sergeant Paul Tapao this morning reporting that Delgado was arrested yesterday after he was seen driving on Route 3 near NCS in Dededo. Delgado reportedly fled into the jungle along Swamp Road, where he was eventually found by detectives and taken into custody. Delgado suspected in 4 recent armed robberies during which some shots were fired from a handgun. The second suspect, Jeremy Allen Evaristo taken into custody on Tuesday. Both men are now facing allegations of first-degree robbery, theft of property, reckless conduct, assault, and resisting arrest. The tax increase that took effect in April has indeed brought in more money to the government of Guam. DOA Director Edward Byrne confirming that an additional $3 million in BBT revenue has been recorded for the month of April so far, after that 1 percentage point increase in the tax took effect on April 1st. However, Byrne cautions that that's a very preliminary number and it may increase in the next few days because they're still reconciling tax receipts. John Camacho, the director of Department of Rev and Tax, has previously estimated that the 1 percentage point increase in the BBT should bring in between $4.5 million to $5 million more in additional revenue every month. The Guam Supreme Court has rejected the governor's request for a court order compelling the legislature to forward the tax refund borrowing bill they passed last year to Adelup for his signature. Governor Calvo appealed to the High Court to tell the legislature to send the so-called Tran bill to his desk, but the legislature has refused. The bill authorizes a line of credit for GovGuam, which the governor wants to use to borrow money to pay tax refunds. Some lawmakers countered that the administration should adhere to the law that requires the government to regularly set aside money for tax refund payments. The High Court deciding not to get in the middle of the dispute, ruling that it's not something to be decided by the courts, leaving it up to the realm of politics. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I'll work on that. It's 8:33. Now, you might be curious as to why I was looking for Carl Gutierrez while I was having the conversation about wrestling and roller derby. And
Wait, he used to do roller derby? No.
Well, I was trying to confirm because it seems to me my recollection is that back in the 1970s, Carl, you got to remember there's carning in the family, right? There's carnival folks in the actual family, and I want to say that years and years and years ago, he was responsible for bringing to Guam for the first time Filipino midget wrestlers, right? That's got to be. I'm almost 1,000% positive, but I just wanted to confirm it with him. And
Sorry, I missed that.
For no other reason, they used to do these. They used to have back in across from Adelup. There used to be a place. I'm not going to remember. Auto Masters. I can't remember what it was before that, but Roy Gamboa will remember. But that was the place where you would go. I mean, they did bingo there. They did cockfighting there, and there was actual wrestling with Southern California wrestling stars that everybody knew from watching on cable television back in the old days. So I'll get to confirm on that before long. It's 8:34 in the morning. You're listening to The Point, and that's iConnect time. Connect longer for less with iConnect's mobile and push-to-talk plans.
For more than 40 years, we've managed our island's most precious resource, your health. Take Care's benefit plans allow members access to more than 120 medical providers, 40 dental providers, and 18 pharmacies in the region. Take Care's health plans ensure members in Palau, Saipan, and Guam receive the care they deserve. Our programs and wellness classes have proven results for our valued members, and our commitment to your health never been stronger. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Portions of the program also brought to you by my friends over at American President Lines. Charlie and his buddies shipping the future. Future.
Are you a homeowner looking to save money on your power bill? Ever thought about getting solar on your roof? If the answer is yes, Micronesia Renewable Energy will install a solar energy system on your roof for zero money down, so you can save money on your power bill. Sign up in the month of May, and MRE will pay you $400 in cash. That's right. In the month of May, get a solar energy system on your roof, and MRE will pay you $400 just for signing up. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Is there traffic? You might find a couple of. I mean, if you look really hard, you'll be able to find some places where traffic is slowing down. There is that bend just as you get into Tumon, coming right round Marine Corps Drive. You've already passed GRMC, not quite to St. John's. Things are slowing down a little bit there. Looks like things might also be slowing down in front of the DPW. Hey, that's where we are area. So we'll look for some additional cars and some additional traffic. Don't see anything else that's going to slow you down. Just the usual Thursday morning traffic on Guam. That's right now. Traffic on The Point.
What would you do with unlimited internet? With Docomo Pacific, the possibilities are endless. Docomo Pacific is throwing off the data caps so you can enjoy more of the things you love. Watch, stream, download, and play with no end in sight. Stop by any of our stores or check out DocomoPacific.com to learn more. Life becomes limitless with Docomo Pacific. Better together.
Don't make me laugh. I have to do a serious interview now. It's going to make me giggle here. Hi, my name is Ray Gibson. This is the Ray Gibson Show on The Point. Your interaction is welcome. As many different ways as you want to do it. You want to do it on the phone? Great. We'll get there in a second. You want to do it online? There's also a fun way to do that with the Facebook Live. And all you got to do is just go find The Point, which is one word, Guam, which is a separate word, on Facebook. Go there, and there will be a link that will take you to a video that is on every morning, starting at about 6 o'clock and going until about 10 o'clock in the morning. And once you are logged in, feel free to communicate with each other. Talking about gender reveals, and Andre Bainham, who's celebrating the last day of school, says Caitlyn Jenner had a gender reveal a few years ago. Does that count? And then a conversation about roller derby being hot right now, the hot trend in the States. And Randy says, don't know what team she played for, but I remember a gal with a number 747 on her jersey. And you're hitting a note with me on that one, Randy. I want to say it's a big woman, right? That was on the roller derby, and 747 because she was so big, and she had some wingspan. So as she was going around, she could knock down some of the other little smaller girls on the thing. That is my recollection.
Yeah.
That's my and so. But a little known fact: expert at roller derby from the 1970s is none other than Attorney General Liz Barrett Anderson.
Good morning, Ray. It's the first time I've been compared to a 747 in a roller derby.
Well, no, I'm just, don't you remember? Because we were just kids then. It was like Channel 4 or something like that on a Friday night. There was wrestling and roller derby. You remember?
Well, I tell you, it's going to be the compliment of my life that I'm going to remember. Go to my gravestone, Ray.
Well, just a couple years age difference with us. So what kind of mess are you going to leave for leaving if he wins?
Well, it's any successor. I've had successors previously, and look forward to future successors. It's a daunting job. You have to have a lot of stamina. Every day is interesting. It's always challenging. The stress level is extremely high, and the tasks are daunting.
Wow. So leaving, if you got the radio on, you might want to reconsider here. It might be easier to just get into the legislature. And she's right. And I think sometimes there are still those days, aren't there, where you kind of have to wrestle with, because you remember that this Attorney General has had the job a couple of times. The first time is basically the governor's Attorney General, and in this case, now the government's lawyer, if you will.
Yes.
And that's the headquarters of that council there. And so there's got to be a little bit of I don't know, did it bend your brain a lot in the beginning, transitioning from the one style that you had when you were working with Uncle Joe versus the one that you have now where you're more of an independent body?
No, absolutely not. And in fact, one of the reasons I ran for the elected office is because I understood the importance of the role of an independent elected Attorney General. And one of the things that I've been trying to accomplish in the last 3 years, although I've not been able to get full legislative support on it, is to amend the statutory powers and duties of the Attorney General. The options were go to Congress and ask Congress to change the way that the Attorney General is provided in the Organic Act, or to seek local support from the Guam legislature in enacting a revised and revamped powers and duty that respect the role of the Attorney General as an elected office and give the Attorney General the independent powers and duties that it needs to have. So it's been part of my struggle over the last 3.5 years, is bringing this office, and not just my tenure, but we've had 3 elected Attorney Generals prior to my coming on board. And it was clear to me we needed a statutory foundational change. And I have a bill that I presented to the legislature. It hasn't been introduced. I hope in the next 7 months I can get the legislature to consider it. It's certainly not something for Liz Barrett Anderson personally, to seek greater power in the role of the AG, but really to respect the role of the elected Attorney General for the people of Guam and what the people of Guam expect the Attorney General to be able to do as the third highest ranking executive position.
Yeah, yeah. And I was listening to the sound of your voice thinking this is going to be, you're going to be missed because of your ability to take the concepts and frame them appropriately and describe it so people that are not necessarily chapter and verse, the legal background or even government policy background can still understand. So I'm certainly going to miss that. I was thinking about what is it that you want your legacy to be? I mean, the years that you have held that office and certainly could run again, I think, with very little difficulty getting reelected, and a big decision not to pursue reelection here for some very good reasons, I think. But at some point, you got to say, what is Liz Barrett Anderson's legacy going to be in the second role as Attorney General?
What comes to mind, just off the cuff, Ray, is hopefully the people of Guam believe that I've made government better.
I like that. Is there a last big case that you want to work on? There's a lot of people that are kind of waiting on a shoe to drop with the Chamorro Land Trust Commission and wondering if there's a need for some kind of investigation, criminal prosecution, white-collar crime investigations. Are there cases that you're looking at in the next 7 months that you'd like to pursue?
There are cases that we've begun, 2 years ago, and there are cases that we are continuing to follow up in just recent times, including the Chamorro Land Trust. It's very, very disappointing that in the last 7 months of my tenure, the administrative processes of the Chamorro Land Trust have just exploded in the manner that they have. I was watching the oversight hearing, I think it was Tuesday, and there's one tonight, and the voices of the people, and there was one young lady who just turned to the senator. She didn't really talk much about her lease or her application, but she just begged the senators, please fix this. And I take that as a statement to myself as well. If I were sitting there, any government official, whether it's me, the governor, the senators, please fix this. And so I am going to dedicate the next 7 months to see what I can do administratively to help the commission, to support any legislation to Senator Atta and all the senators, and Senator Uggan as well, and whoever wants to introduce something to make it better, to make the process better. And on the other side,
you got to restore the faith. I mean, the process. If we hopefully in fixing the process, the faith will be restored. But we've got to very visibly say that there is a problem. There were people that were able to cut in line, seemingly with impunity, and there's got to be justice done, and that maybe will restore the faith in the government.
One of the things that I have often heard in coming back in my second tenure as Attorney General, with things that are done in government, I hear, well, there's nothing in the law that stops it. The law doesn't say you can't do it. And if government continues with that kind of philosophy, of looking at a statute and saying, well, the statute doesn't say we can't do it, so we're going to do it. No. If the law says you can't do it, you don't assume that the law is silent on it. Don't assume that you can go ahead and do something.
That doesn't necessarily give you permission.
Honestly, Ray, I come back after 26 years, and I've tried to stop government officials, and I've heard that so often. But, Madam Attorney General, it doesn't say we can't do it, and I just kind of roll my eyes and just. So a lot has been. My staff has heard me say deja vu. I've come back, a second time, and so many issues that were responded to, and I'd say, fixed, 26, 28 years ago. I've come back, and government just doesn't seem to learn its lesson, and you got to retrain government. So I think I've been in the process of the last 3.5 years of retraining government and to understand their role under the law. And this philosophy, well, the statute didn't say I couldn't do it. is a bad way for government to be operating.
No, I totally agree with you. Let me throw out a couple of topics and get your comments on them. One of them is the Davis case. A few days ago, we fired a shot across the Attorney General's bow, suggesting that you guys were willing to wait as long as until later, even though there were courts with open calendars where the Davis case could be heard. The AGO decided to wait. We'll go ahead and do it in Hawaii in October. No rush, no rush.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any thoughts on what Dave on what Dave said, the accusation that you guys are dragging your feet on political status?
No, not at all. Hawaii was just a lot closer, and if there are individuals who would like to attend that, it's a little shorter flight than it is all the way to California. So, kind of reminiscent of when the political status talks were had in Hawaii instead of Washington, D.C. So that was the only thing that played into that. And to be honest, the other thing that played into it is our budget. We got cut by 1.4. We're hoping that in 2019 the legislature continues to fund the Davis case, and we were saving our travel money in 2018 for trials that are coming up this summer. And I said, well, let's wait till FY19, the beginning of FY19, and we'll have some more travel funds.
You and I exchanged a lot of conversation at the time about the governor's pay raise debacle. You remember where you decided that the pay raises that had gone out, the bonuses, were illegal, and they used that fuzzy GovGuam Adeloop mathematics where they issued other checks that were then bounced back into the system, and that was supposed to zero out the balances. Isn't that case still pending?
It was referred down to the prosecutor's office, and under the law, the statute of limitations continues to be viable 3 years after any elected official leaves government service. The problem with the current structure of the powers and duties of the Attorney General is that the only way that the Attorney General can seek the services of an independent, a special, whatever name you want to give to it, is through the procurement process. And we've already seen what has happened to the procurement process. Again, I'm not involved in that procurement, but there was a protest on it, and it didn't go anywhere. So in the powers and duties statute that I've requested the legislature to consider, it would allow the next Attorney General or this Attorney General the power to be able to appoint, without going through a procurement process, a special prosecutor. With the skills and background that are necessary. In addition, to be able to ask the Attorney General's office of another jurisdiction, perhaps CNMI or any other states, to assist in providing us that kind of services. But as long as the Attorney General's office has to go through a procurement, financial and contracting process for that kind of a position, we've already seen it doesn't work very well.
Agreed, especially in this case, because there were clear violations. And the other thing is there are still a lot of people that for whom there were not checks issued that would have zeroed out their balance, and changes into retirement as well as taxes that people are liable for that were not covered with those supposedly zero out checks. So that's still something that needs work.
Yeah. I'm sure Mueller was not brought on board through a procurement process in the Justice Department.
Right. Speaking of bringing people on board, it's one of the things that had always bristled your predecessors, including the first elected Attorney General, is the number of government of Guam departments and agencies with their own very expensive private outside counsel. And as an example, you take a look at what's happened over at the port and how much money the port is paying just in legal fees on cases that seem to go on forever. And I'm wondering why we're not giving that to one of the professionals at the Attorney General's office.
The Speaker introduced a bill, I think in the prior legislature that we supported. I don't know if he's reintroduced it again. That would carve down the independent legal fees and legal services into the autonomous agencies by allowing the Attorney General's office in the non-specialty areas. For example, our office is very, very good with procurement, personnel, and contracting.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of airport or port authority, maritime, or other types of specialty, or for Guam Power Authority, Guam Waterworks Authority, then I can see them hiring outside counsel for those special types of services. But right now, statutorily, these agencies, these autonomous agencies, have statutory authority. And until that authority is changed with regard to their hiring of legal services, Doug Moylan tried to challenge that, and he was not successful. I believe the governor's organic authority trumped the Attorney General's authority at that time. So
Right.
We do need that bill that the speaker, now speaker, had introduced. I'm not quite sure if in the last 7 months of his tenure, if he wants to take on that battle or pass the baton on to another younger senator to take that on.
Well, yeah, Vice Speaker's also a lawyer. Maybe she might take some interest in saving the government of Guam. And when I say the government of Guam, I actually mean taxpayers, saving us a couple of dollars in some of those excessive costs. As I said, once you've got one of these departments and agencies, and we're involved in litigation, and it's paying some sweet dough, $200, $300 an hour, there's really no incentive. That's a disincentive to want to clean up the case and get it off the dockets as quick as possible. And one last thing, speaking of dockets, and going back maybe to your role as a judge, and maybe this will color the conversation a little bit, make it that much more interesting. I'm beginning to get very, very disappointed in the number of cases that I'm hearing about the judges, very lenient judges, that are basically letting meth dealers go. The case has been adjudicated. They've been found guilty, but so-and-so has got a heart condition, or somebody's daughter is sick, or whatever, and all of a sudden these guys are let go back out onto the streets. And I think for what ice and methamphetamine, what drugs are doing in this community, I think we need to be a lot tougher, especially on the drug dealers. Your thoughts?
It's hard for me to criticize my brethren who are currently sitting on the bench right now. As the Attorney General and in charge of the prosecutor's office, we're disappointed as well. Judges serve for 7 years, and then they're up for re-election. So I think the electorate of Guam, if they are dissatisfied with the work of any particular judge, needs to put on a tickler system. When does this particular judge come up for election? Mm-hmm. And if that judge is too lenient, as you say, then you make your voice known at the ballot box.
I'm looking forward to an opportunity to do exactly that, and I hope that you will vote along the same lines as me when it comes to the retention of these judges. That I get it. We all want to be nice here, but especially when it comes to people that are dealing methamphetamine and causing such incredible harm in this community, then I think that there needs to be a stronger call for justice.
Yeah, Ray. The Mandania Task Force, our prosecutor's office, we have picked up the effort in bringing drug offenders before the courts. Next to family violence, and family violence is also related to drug addiction, the next most charged case is our drug cases. And I'm glad that the executive is moving both the police department, the Mandania Task Force, and our office. And I'm looking forward to getting a designation of a HIDA designation, which is High Intensity Drug Area, a designation from the Office of ONDCP, Office of the National Drug Control Policy, because that means that we can pour more money into our drug interdiction effort. But to see that cocaine is back and to have our largest and our biggest cocaine bust and our charge, it's scary. You think we're going in a positive direction. I think what maybe is happening is that we're closing down the meth, and then cocaine picks up in the other direction. It's the war on drugs. It's been 30, 40 years. The war never stops, and it's very, very frustrating. So I agree with you. But I have to also, on the other end of it, indicate that the judiciary is a therapeutic judiciary. You cannot, and we don't have enough room at the Department of Corrections to lock up all the drug addicts. So we have to balance our interdiction, our charging, with therapeutic jurisprudence and trying to treat our drug addicts.
Oh, I don't have a problem at the at the consumer level, and the lady that got busted by the policeman the other day, she's already on probation and using the phone while driving. She didn't hear the commercials and no driver's license. All of those things. That woman obviously needs help. She is a victim of this drug, but the guy that gave it to her, the guy that sold it to her. Right there, what's his therapy? His therapy needs to be in jail, and he needs to be there for a while. And we need to. One of the things that we need to do is work on building. And I hate to say it because people will say, "Well, that's you're just looking to incarcerate people." I'm not. I'm looking to punish people. I'm looking to correct people. So if we need to find millions and millions of dollars to build ourselves a new Department of Corrections, then let's make that a priority.
I agree. I agree with you 100% on that one. Department of Corrections has outlived its 1968 infrastructure, and we don't want to go into another receivership.
No, absolutely not. But if it's the receivership is what it takes, like it was for the dump, like it was for the solid waste system on Guam, if that's what it takes to give us a facility that we need that can house and rehabilitate. I'm not in disfavor of corrections. I think that's an important model, and the reason why we call it Department of Corrections instead of the prison. But if that's what it's going to take, then let's get a receiver in here. Or better yet, let's hire somebody now while we're still in control.
As long as the federal government pays for it, and we don't.
Well, there's another sticky wick here. There's another lawsuit that you were supposed to win.
That's right. If we're going to go into receivership, at least don't have the taxpayers of Guam front the whole bill. Some type of cost sharing here would be great rather than our taking the 100% fall for it.
Well, if we got just a fraction of what we are owed for compact immigrants and compact impact, there's a whole different story. Hey, it's always fun talking with you. Promise me that even after you're not the Attorney General anymore, you can still call and bug me and correct me and guide me.
No promises there, Ray. But if you happen to call, I'll always be available.
See, yeah, it's just for the answer. You know what? I'm kind of okay where it comes to institutional knowledge and a long memory back. But as you are just a couple of years older than me, it's always nice to have a second.
Okay, Ray, thank you so much for the service that you do to the people of Guam as well.
Well, I have a good time doing it. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. I see you.
Adios.
Adios. Outgoing Attorney General Liz Barrett Anderson. She said going to try not to leave too big of a mess for leaving if he is chosen by the people to take on that position. But the warning in there, it's a tough job, and you better be up to the task. 9 a.m. The radio station is KUSG Agana. Fox News Live is coming up, and we have arrangements to talk with Dr. Jensen in the next hour. This is going to be great. Maybe a little bit more conversation about the disaster that is the presidential search at the University of Guam. That's ahead on The Point.
He wants answers. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump again slamming reports an informant infiltrated his campaign ahead of a meeting with the FBI and the Deputy Attorney General about the Russia probe.
President Trump said that what he wants is total transparency from the FBI and from Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. He also once again repeated an unsubstantiated allegation that an FBI informant was embedded into the Trump campaign.
All you have to do is look at the basics and you'll see it looks like a very serious event, but we'll find out. When they look at the documents, I think people are going to see a lot of bad things happen.
Speaking to reporters, the president said he wasn't trying to undermine the special counsel investigation. The president has coined a new term for the FBI's investigation during the campaign, calling it Spygate.
Fox's John Decker at the White House. Democrats call the meeting highly inappropriate because just 2 House committee chairs are invited. They're demanding a bipartisan group be able to attend. A White House team on its way to Singapore this weekend ahead of President Trump's planned meeting with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says he expects the meeting to happen.
He asked for the meeting
The president agreed to meet with him. I'm very hopeful that that meeting will take place.
Yesterday, the president indicated the meeting could be delayed. And Pompeo responding to a complaint from a U.S. government worker who claims they were experiencing abnormal sounds and pressure similar to what U.S. diplomats in Cuba experienced. This happened in China.
We're concerned about it. It's a serious medical incident. We want to make sure and take care of every one of our officers serving overseas. We've learned about it only recently. We are still trying to identify all the circumstances surrounding it.
The State Department saying they don't know what caused the symptoms. The incidents in Cuba caused a strain in U.S.-Cuban relations. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Water. It covers nearly 3/4 of our Earth. From vast oceans to millions of rivers and streams, we're all concerned with protecting our world's water. But none is more important than the water you and your family drink and use throughout your home. A Connecticut water treatment system can improve your water so that your family is using the best water in the world. Connecticut, for refreshing ideas on water.
American Water Tech. Smarter water. Better water. Call American Water Tech at 649-2301 or email info@americanwatertech.com.
With the largest inventory of rental equipment on Guam, East West Rental Center is sure to have the tool you need to get your job finished quickly. From equipment rental, party rental, parts and service to used equipment, East West Rental Center has what you need. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them online and browse through their online rental catalog at eastwestrental.com. They're located in Upper Tumon, right across St. John's School. East West Rental Center, providing the island of Guam with quality equipment rentals since 1972.
The Pentagon rescinds its invitation to China to naval exercises in the Pacific next month.
China had participated in the past two biannual exercises in 2014 and 2016. The move comes a day after President Trump accused China's President Xi of setting back talks with North Korea and amidst contentious trade talks. U.S. officials also accused China of continuing to militarize disputed islands in the South China Sea, deploying missiles and a nuclear-capable bomber as recently as last week. On a visit to the White House in 2015, China's president promised he would not militarize the islands, but new satellite imagery and video suggests otherwise. At the Pentagon, Jennifer Griffin, Fox News.
Royal wedding guests not hanging on to their swag bags. Instead, they're making big bucks on them.
Over 2,600 members of the public were invited to the grounds of Windsor Castle for Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's big day and given tote bags with the couple's initials inscribed. Inside included a fridge magnet, a gold chocolate coin, a tub of shortbread, and a voucher for 20% off the Windsor Castle gift shop. As of Tuesday, 34 of the party favors were listed on e-commerce site eBay, with prices starting at $150 into the thousands. At least one listing claims the money made for the sale would go toward charity. A London-based HR manager making headlines for selling her bag for $28,000. I'm Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
The estate of Michael Jackson objecting to an ABC TV special airing tomorrow on the end of his life, issuing a statement that the show, called The Last Days of Michael Jackson, is not approved by his heirs and will most likely violate their intellectual property rights. They also called the special an unauthorized attempt to exploit Jackson without respect to his legacy or his children. Lisa Lacera, Fox News Radio.
Don't wait another day and waste another dollar. You can start saving today. At Guahan Insurance Services, we are here to help protect your investment and save you money. We offer insurance advising for business, car, and home insurance. So come and visit us at our new office at Camacho Landmark Center at Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning, and let us show you that you can count on us for all your insurance needs. Call 475-1162.
All right, microphone on. Portions of the program brought to you by my friends over at King's. And what is it that we want you to have for lunch today? Meatloaf. Meatloaf. Now, last hour, long conversation with Blake Watson and Mike, arguably people that have had meatloaf in their lives.
Yes.
And so I'm a meatloaf embellishing guy. And I don't know if they serve it this way over at King's. I hope they do. Mm-hmm. Well, maybe they can make it special.
You know, I think they would make it that way.
I like meatloaf with a whole boiled egg inside.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know some people that just it makes them absolutely crazy when to see it that way. But for me, that's the way it needs to be. Mm-hmm. I'm also cool with the idea of spears of pickle in the meatloaf as well.
Oh, wow. You like yours decorated up.
Oh, yeah. There's olives on the top, all of that stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Now my brother, who is an incredible chef, has a meatloaf recipe that he makes not in the oven, but he's got an air fryer.
Oh.
So he's got an air fryer going, and he's perfected it now. He's got it so that the outside of the meatloaf is absolutely, in Chamorro's tostos, it's got a little bit of almost char on it. It's nice and fried on the outside. So you've got some texture there, and then you bite into it, and the outside crumbles. It just breaks away into the soft, still moist meatloaf on the inside.
It's almost like a meat cake. I mean, that sounds like a meat cake, man.
Yes. So there's my friends. So are you hungry for meatloaf now? Good. That's what's for lunch at King's.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer vacation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,500 by calling Family Finance in Hagåtña at 475-4545, Upper Tuon 647-5626, or in Dededo 633-4473. Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. They are shipping the future. Future.
Manila, Osaka, Fukuoka.
Dreaming about your next vacation? With the FHB United Mileage Plus credit card, you can get 10% off on United Airlines flights from Guam to Manila, Osaka, or Fukuoka when you book your ticket by May 31. Book your flight on United.com at a United City ticket office or your local travel agency using promo code FHB18M. Visit FHB.com/United Fair Sale 18 for more details. Terms and conditions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Yesterday, in a very interesting episode of The Ray Gibson Show, we heard from Ruby Jane Buhain Radilla, who is working over at KGTF. That's public television. There's something still talking to me. Okay. At any rate, I heard from her, and we were talking about this television show that was on TV on KGTF last night called The Great American Read. Now, it doesn't make any difference to me if you watch the show. I don't care. But what we want now is for you to go to The Great American Read. Just Google that, and it will take you to a page where you can vote for your favorite novel of all time. And so I thought maybe I'd take a look at that while we're waiting to set up the next interview here, and see what some of the books that you can vote on are. So Orwell's 1984. I guess we're going in alphabetical order, huh? And I'm not going to read you all of them. Just the ones that stand out to me and are interesting. There's Tom Sawyer, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Huh. There's a book in there by Agatha Christie, Anne of the Green Gables, which is a great story. But I saw a play they did at Harvest a couple of years ago, and they did such a great job with that. Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand is in there. Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. Charlotte's Web, of course. Go down a couple more. Miguel de Cervantes' Don Quixote is in there. Wow. How about this? 50 Shades of Grey made the novels list, the top 100. Frank Herbert's Dune, which one of these days they'll actually get around to making a good movie of. Isaac Asimov's Foundation, Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, Game of Thrones, the entire series by George R. Martin. I know somebody that made it through the Game of Thrones. He was in a hyperbaric chamber for a long time and had absolutely nothing to do. So somebody gave him all of the Game of Thrones books, and that's what he did to pass the time while he was in the hyperbaric chamber. I'll go back and look at some of the other books on the list and maybe mention one or two of your favorites. But I wanted to spend a little bit of time, and I'm so glad that we were able to make the connection with the Dr. John Jensen, who's with Weary at the University of Guam. Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Ray.
How's my water these days?
Good. We got the world's best aquifer.
I'm glad. You know what? And when he says it, it's a good thing. Hey, if you're on a speakerphone, it might help the listeners a little bit more if you could pick up the handset so they can hear you better. Oh, drat. Do we have to do that? Yeah, just otherwise it's got this hollow echo sound, and I'd like my listeners to be able to hear what you're saying.
Okay, I'm back.
Much better. I appreciate it. On the line with Dr. John Jensen from Weary at the University of Guam. And in this morning's PDN, an editorial item that says UOG should restart the search for the president. And may I just say, from everybody that I've talked to, I don't know if I'd be able to find anybody that would disagree with your idea.
Uh-huh.
Is that what you're getting from among your colleagues at the University of Guam and among other people that you talk to?
So far.
As I said, it's going to be hard to find somebody that would disagree with that. At this point, it looks like it is some kind of a disaster. But if you would, paraphrase some of the comments that you've made in this morning's newspaper editorial, and we'll take it from there. Why do you think they need to start over?
Well, I think well, first of all, I'd like to say, the search certainly needs to be kept in the hands of the border regions and the search committee. And I'm not casting any stones at anybody. These things happen, and we've been sort of caught by surprise here by a situation that nobody anticipated. So I think the obvious thing for everybody to do is just simply start over and make sure that whatever happened doesn't happen on the next go. The process we have is a good process, but it needs to make sure that it continues to include the input of the faculty leadership and all the university constituencies, students, administration, everybody.
Apparently, maybe a Google search might have turned up a couple of things that might have saved everybody a little bit of embarrassment, including one of the candidates himself, Hamid Shirvani, and in North Dakota, it's fairly easy to find editorial comments and actual news stories that point to his tenure at UND as a disaster.
Yeah, well, that's exactly how it happened here. I had been not really closely engaged with what was going on in the presidential search. I got my job here to do at Weary.
Yeah.
And when the names were announced, one of my colleagues here just happened to do the obvious thing that everybody was doing, or to do a little internet search on these three names. And the first thing that popped up was this news about this one particular candidate that was pretty disturbing. So I just, engaged with everybody else in discussing it, and thought, well.
Were you disappointed, John, in the lack of because there weren't more local names here, and let me just put it that way. I think in a lot of people's minds, the replacement for Dr. Robert Underwood as president of the University of Guam should have been fulfilled by somebody, and it doesn't need to be a local name. It doesn't need to be Enriquez, but somebody generally from around this area with a little bit more of an understanding of the way we are out here in the Pacific.
Well, yes, we don't need to call in a superstar, and of course, everybody has their own definition of what constitutes a superstar. But what we need is a president that will continue the work that the current administration is doing. The point is. The university is in good shape. It's not like we need a reformer or somebody to shake the institution down or fix it. We've been through a crisis 18 years ago, but in those past 18 years, we have really done well. Public confidence is at an all-time high. University morale is at an all-time high. And
it's the number of graduates that just over the weekend, my nephew among several hundred people that got to turn their tassels, and it seems like every commencement ceremony the crowd gets bigger. We're going to need to build a new field house to accommodate all the students and their relatives that want to come out and celebrate that moment.
Yep. And in the last 2 accreditation visits, we've had 8 years accreditation, which is the max that they give. Dr. Underwood took the university through this G2G, good to great realignment, which was very skillfully executed and very successful. And we're now we've stood up essentially a newly realigned institution, and it's starting to realize the effects of this reorganization and realignment, and we're doing well. So yes, what we need is a stable leader that will continue the good work that we've had going over the last 17, 18 years, and we need somebody who really has their heart in the institution. I worry that we're at risk here for bringing in people for whom the university is just a step along the way in their own careers.
Yeah, kind of a resume pad from point A to point B, and the real sights are on a big mainland institution, but they want to be able to say that they've got the international experience, and I turned around Guam, this Underwood guy ruined it, I came in and fixed it, and yada, yada, yada. So I can agree with that point. I've seen that happen 1,000 times before in a lot of different places, so I don't disagree with that point. Where do we go next, John? I mean, you're not a lone voice in this, Doc. You are echoing the sentiments, and I think you put them down very appropriately in a very timely manner. I'm glad that you were able to get this to the editors as quickly as you did.
I was amazed at how rapidly they probably
This went fast. So the trick here now is to be able to take as I said, again, not a lone voice. I'm hearing this from a lot of people, and let's restart the process. There's going to be people with pride of authorship. There are going to be people that have also are of the sense that, dude, we spent $140,000 on this. We can't possibly. Let's not ignore the money that we spent. This guy's making a recommendation we paid $140,000 for. Let's do it.
Yeah.
That's going to be an expensive mistake.
Yeah, and I'm in no position to critique the process, because I don't know exactly what went on and how this came about. But I guess I can say that if this was a recommendation that was made by the consultant that we hired, that we ought to ask for our money back, because and what concerns me, Ray, is about and the reason I made the remarks I did about the questioning the quality of the search, it's not that I've done an exhaustive search on the other 2 candidates and have specific concerns about them, but when this third candidate popped up with all the problems that he has, it makes you wonder, well, what kind of scrutiny did the rest of these candidates get, and what kind of criteria were used, and so that's why I think the search needs to restart, rather than just say, well, we'll throw this guy out and consider the other 2. I think the best way to recover from this is for the board to simply do the right thing, to say, well, there was a mistake made. We're not going to we're not looking for somebody to blame or somebody to call out on this. But let's just start it over and get it done right this time. And I think the important thing is that we respect the authority and the dignity of the board, because this board and the boards that have gone before it have served us well. I mean, we've got an outstanding Board of Regents.
Yeah, and I hope they don't think that this is a criticism of them. There was a process that was executed, and we're not satisfied with the results. So whoever it was that we hired to do this process, you need to start it all over again. And here's a few other things that we'd like you to do, and we'll start with a Google of everybody that has applied for the job. Do you think they ought to go back? I mean, my understanding is they started with the original, 60 or so applicants that they had, and then winnowed that down to 9, and what we saw was the top 3. Do you think that they need to begin the process with all 60, go out with brand new application forms, or just pick it up at the 9?
Yeah, well, that's beyond the
not your pay grade
of what I know. You know, I think the people, the board is in a position to be able to make that judgment, and whether you do I guess what we call a warm restart with the applications you already have, or a cold restart where you go out and start all over again, is a call that they're going to have to make, because they know what they had to work with. But you know, if the problem was that they were overly reliant on this consultant who just gave them the names, and they trusted the guy's judgment, took the guy's word, then perhaps we need to reconsider
who we're trusting with our future here.
Yeah. But, you know, like I say, you know, even the most competent team and good people can make mistakes, and things can go wrong when even the best people, and we've got really good people working on this. But and it happens to all of us. And so when there's a mistake, you just fess up and fix it.
I'm with you. John, I know you've got some important work that needs to be done over there. I appreciate the nod on the aquifer. I always think about the aquifer as I'm drinking my water straight from the tap. I'm not one of those guys that absolutely has to filter everything. And people say, well, there's a flavor to it. And I say, good, because I don't like plain water.
It's the same flavor that's in Evian, because it has it's water with calcium carbonate dissolved in it, which is a nutrient that's good for you. I drink a 16-ounce glass out of the tap every morning, and another one when I get home before I go work out.
The guy's a doctor. If he says it's good for you, it's good for you. And if he says that restarting the process on the search for the University of Guam professor or a president needs to be restarted, then that's probably a good idea as well. I appreciate your time.
You bet, Ray.
And I know the listeners do as well. And maybe next time we can talk about you know, the future of water on Guam and military buildup and all of these other things that every once in a while will occupy the headlines.
Anytime.
I'm looking forward to it again. John Jensen from the University of Guam and the Weary program. And it's always nice to hear when the guy says, look, I'm drinking it out of the tap. Me too, because it saves me some money. 924 radio station you're listening to is The Point. I want to say shout-outs to a few folks that have chimed in on the Facebook Live. There's Richard, and there's Tim Cepeda. Hey, Timmy, how you doing there, bud? Ray Gibson is on, too. Ray Gibson saying hello to Cousin Troy. If this is not a fake account, Troy Torres has found his way to the Facebook Live. I see Art, I see Adonis, I see Jose. Romeo saying, I wish things had been different for EBA. I really liked her. And Troy's remarks were, Romeo, holy cow, that was a great article you put out. And if you were wondering what that great article might be, go to a different part of Facebook and look for Guam Blog. In fact, I'm going to do that now. At this time, we'll do this together. Guam Blog on Facebook, and see what the recent artwork is there. Aha! I found it. This zit is popped. So Romy and I share some common parts of our brains, and when I was talking yesterday, the only way that I could adequately frame what I think is happening is, and this is in regards to something that Troy had thrown out there, that J. Dean Tuncap from the governor's office had gone over to see a supporter of Dennis Rodriguez to give him a message that eventually got back to Dennis Rodriguez, allegedly, right? Because that Dennis Rodriguez says, yes, yes, Jay Dean did contact somebody, and it came back to me, right?
Yeah, it's he said, she said.
So in my mind, this story goes nowhere until the guy in the middle, the guy that Jay Dean talked to, the guy that then talked to Dennis, until this guy shows up, this is vapor. It's a hoax, I said. And so I said that we got to find ways to get this zit juice out. We need to pop this pimple, if you will. And as I said, there are a couple of names that were floating around. One of them, according to this post from Romeo at Guam Blog, is Tom Tahaji. It says he is the unidentified Rodriguez Cruz supporter told by Jay Dean Tuncap to deliver an extortion threat to Rodriguez. He works for gambling boss Guam Music's owner Lauren Bramley. Bramley started a political slush fund with $100,000 for Ray Tenorio. The magic number, Troy Torres said, the mob boss goons shake down the island. And then it goes on to the rest of the story at guamblog.tumblr.com. And so that's the name of that we're floating around. Wow. But and see, it was the point that I was making yesterday. I'm going to bring Ken Leon Guerrero into this conversation because it's juicy enough for him too. Yeah. The way it was equated to me was that they didn't want to talk with or Tom Tahaji. They didn't want Tom Tahaji to talk because the people that are behind him over at Guam Music are fans of Ray, and if Tom came out publicly and said, yeah, it was me, it would mean that everything coming out of Adelup on this story was a fabrication. They said it never happened. They said it was an out-and-out lie. And so that's what I said when we got to pop that zit. So Tom Tahaji is the name that everybody's looking for, and now that it's out, the question is he going to come out and say, yeah, I talked to Jay Dean, and back up his guy Dennis? Or is he going to come out and say, no, never happened because of his boss's relationship with Ray? Right? What do you think, Ken?
Well, I think that it's an interesting exercise in futility because no matter how much money they have raised, I'm still not running into a lot of people that say they're going to support Ray. So this is like pouring gas on a fire that's already been burning, and it was burning before this whole Dennis thing popped up.
Well, but it makes a difference.
More fuel to it.
Yeah, but it makes a difference in this case because if he stands up and says, yeah, I'm Tom and Jay Dean talked to me and I took the message as I was told to Dennis, then that means there is room. I think that would create a story with enough veracity, enough grounds for the guys over at the Election Commission to take a stand.
I wouldn't exactly hold your breath on that one, right?
I just, hey, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it could happen. Who knows what? What are we waiting on? The Election Commission's office? We're waiting for their legal counsel to come up and decide whether they can, in fact, do anything, even if it's true. Even if Tom does say it's true. They still have to wait out their legal to say that there are steps that the board can take against one of their own members.
And I don't think we'll ever see that happen either. It's just going to basically come down to cleaning house from the top down. Because one of the things that keeps this situation going is the fact that it's no surprise to anybody. I mean, the climate of fear among people who work for the government, who have family members who work for the government, who have family members who work in companies that do contracts for the government is extremely high. So until this administration is out of office, we're going to keep seeing a lot of that fear. And it goes back to the fact in over a year of talking to people, maybe 1 out of 15 or 1 out of 20 says that they're going to vote for Ray.
I haven't seen those. I haven't seen any of that research.
Top in the polls.
I haven't seen that research. You got copies?
No, I mean, in my anecdotal research, when I'm talking to people on a daily basis, and I pop the question, if the election were held today, who would you vote for? Mm-hmm. And I keep those notes. Now, it's not a scientific program, but it has proven consistently accurate when compared to the more structured polls that are put out.
Okay. I'm just asking. It's not that I'm disagreeing with you. I just haven't seen any actual research that I trust, that verifiable, repeatable. Yeah. From anybody. It might be out there, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, and but this is going to be a one of those election day, the election day issues that's going to unfold, everybody will, after it's over, they'll all come out and say, yeah, I could have predicted that. But they won't predict it now because they still have a job, or their relatives still have a job, for the same reason this source is remaining hidden and underground, because he likes his job probably.
Let me switch things up a little bit. There's the very interesting, and I could swear I could hear you squealing with delight yesterday in the afternoon when the Supreme Court came out with their ruling on the Tran bill.
Yeah, actually, I predicted it in a few of my Facebook posts as well, as so did people like Bob Klitsky did, because it was a moot point by the time it got to the desk of the Supreme Court, and they announced in the very beginning they weren't even going to look at it. So how many tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars got spent on that exercise of futility?
I don't call them exercises in futility. I just call them what they are: waste of time.
Waste of taxpayer dollars.
Oh, there's no shortage of a desire to do that around here these days.
Yeah, I mean, over the past few years on the issue of taxes, I think the governor spent millions of dollars fighting for the right to pay refunds when he wanted to. Contrary to what he says in his public announcements. But the only reason he's paying refunds is because he has to. And when we're looking at this latest trans failure, it's just, one more brick in the wall, one more issue that Ray's going to have to carry on his shoulders and explain to the public when we get into real serious campaign mode.
So we're not there already?
Not yet. I mean, Ray's basically just coasting right now. I think things will get real serious for him after we get past the primary. And then he's going to have to justify the record of the Calvo Tenorio administration, as he has pledged to extend it.
Yeah, well, my read is it's going to be tricky. He's got one less issue that he can run on, and when they closed the fire stations, when they closed the police stations, I think that effectively eliminated his ability to run on any kind of public safety platform. I mean, he might be able to rescue that, but I think for a lot of people that will stand out. And certainly, if I was running against him, that would be one of the first things that I'd start with in any kind of formal debate.
College for all, because when you look at his campaign, they predict that 2 out of 3 jobs will require a college degree. Then you go on GuamJobsOnline.com and look in the want ads. How many college degrees do you have to be wait staff, pool cleaner, landscaper, babysitter, truck detailer? I don't see college degrees being offered for those.
Yeah, well, I'm the guy that I'm kind of give me the easy job kind of guy. I did notice that there's a couple of interesting job positions that are open. In fact, I was trying to get Mike and Kevin to join me later on today, go down to PIC and apply for the clubmate position.
I want to be a clubmate.
I want to be a
absolutely.
clubmate.
You get a tan. You get free lunch. They give you free lunch in the restaurant.
Do they?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
have you seen the uniform you're supposed to wear?
Yes.
I would totally rock that uniform.
Yes.
I would totally rock that uniform. I look good in roller derby pants.
People right now think I'm kidding.
No, they're splits.
I'm not kidding. Let's go.
I've already got a tan. I'm already in shape.
That's true. Well, you're naturally tan.
I'm not.
Seen those pictures on Facebook called Walmart people?
Shut up! That's not us. It's not me.
That's
for sure.
in 20 years.
I'm just thinking. I got nothing to do on the weekends. I just go down there and just all summer long rock it with the Korean hot pants, right? Anyway,
that's a picture I don't want to keep.
I need. See, now I'm just getting distracted everywhere. Hold on a second.
There was one story I wanted to share with you.
No, you got to wait. It's my show. When it's your show, you can do whatever you want. But when it's my show, you have to suffer my question about roller derby.
I am totally ignorant on the issue of roller derby.
I don't believe
other than a couple of movies in the 70s.
Right. No! Was it Rollerball? But wasn't Raquel Welch in a hot pants roller derby movie once upon a time?
You're thinking of Bay City Rollers.
Yeah, that was like
you've exhausted my entire repertoire of roller derby movies.
Okay, well, how about Filipino midget wrestlers? Do you have any knowledge on that?
No. Australian dwarf tossing and dwarf bowling is as close as I can come there.
All right. Well, if we're lucky, I'll be able to get a hold of Carl Gutierrez before the end of the show. I don't want to talk about any politics, but back in the day, I believe he is the guy that brought out Filipino midget wrestlers from the actual Philippines, which enthralled a generation. And my brother was a baby at the time. He was a little baby Dave, and for years, what do you want for Christmas? I want a midget. I want a midget wrestler. I want a little brother that will never grow up.
Our sports like that, you need to pay attention to Australia, because with their 15% beer, they gave us dwarf tossing, dwarf bowling, bungee jumping, rocket shots.
But seriously, if you got a couple of minutes, I don't have to break just this second, but maybe in a minute or two. My understanding, first of all, I was asking the question earlier about who's speaking at the Rotary Club today. It's Lou, right?
I don't know. I'm not invited to those meetings.
Why not? I thought you were doing interviews with all of the candidates.
Well, no one invites me to those meetings, and being a senior citizen on a fixed income, I can't afford the membership.
Okay. Well, the last word I heard was I think it's Lou, and then next week it's Carl TC. And the reason why I'm interested in this, who's going to be speaking there, is my understanding is that you have conducted interviews with all of the candidates.
I finish with Dennis tomorrow, but I did the interviews with Frank, did the Lou, and Carl. I finish with Frank tomorrow. Ray has not returned any of my phone calls or emails, even
so I wonder why.
Headquarters. I don't know why.
Well, I don't. Maybe he thinks they won't get a fair shake from you.
He'd get a fair shake. All I would do is ask him questions about his platform and drill down just like I did with the other candidates. It's not going to be another music video, if that's what he's worried about.
Was that you? That was genius. I'm sorry. That's so good. I played it twice.
By Jonathan Bullwinkle, who made a comment that kind of grabbed me.
Good job, Jonathan. I like the way the brains work together on the Facebook Live program. And so based on the interviews that you've conducted, obviously all on the Democratic side, is there anybody that you've talked to that seems to have a little bit more of a visionary plan besides I'm doing it for the people and, way forward, all of the soaring language? Have you talked to anybody that actually has a plan?
Well, this is the part that's been interesting so far, because first couple of minutes I let them get their politicking out of the way. Then we start asking the questions and get into the details. I don't want to say anything till I finish the interview with Dennis. And then once I cut them down, I'm going to put all 4 online at the same time.
Okay, let me know when that.
Let people decide for themselves.
Yeah, let me know when we've got that, and I'll help you with the promotion on it, because I want people to be able to get something and questions from somebody that has been around a little bit longer and watching the scene play. Hey, I got to run.
Okay.
I'll talk to you pretty soon. There's Ken LG, and one of these days I'll remember to ask him about mass transit again while we're, because I know that makes him crazy, because gas is so expensive, and it's going to go up, ladies and gentlemen. The price of a barrel of Tapas crude is at $81 and a penny, and that is significantly up from what it was the day we started doing this show, and that's not even a full quarter ago. It's not even a full 100 days ago. It's 9:39 in the morning, and the radio station is KUSG Hagåtña. iConnect time, as I said, 9:39. iConnect has got wants you to connect longer for less with their push-to-talk and mobile plans.
Are you a homeowner looking to save money on your power bill? Ever thought about getting solar on your roof? If the answer is yes, Micronesia Renewable Energy will install a solar energy system on your roof for zero money down, so you can save money on your power bill. Sign up in the month of May, and MRE will pay you $400 in cash. That's right. In the month of May, get a solar energy system on your roof, and MRE will pay you $400 just for signing up. Conditions apply. Call 632-2613 for details. MRE, the smarter choice.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegli of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan, protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
As we journey through the new year, we here at APL continue to find ways to better deliver our island's resources with innovative and cost-effective solutions, lending our helping hands by carrying your freight safely from the U.S. mainland or anywhere in our global network. We humbly honor the opportunities to continue to work and connect with you and your business. We are APL, and we are here for you.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training every morning on The Ray Gibson Show.
Are you saddled up for success? Do you meet each day with goals in hand and blaze trails? I'm Jerry Roberts, and at 7:20 a.m. on The Ray Gibson Show, we're going to talk about the best time to back down off the high achievement train and just go with the flow.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point by Jerry Roberts at GuamTraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts on The Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point.
So, are there any more indictments on my credibility on Facebook this morning? There was one posted last night. Well, I don't know. It wasn't posted like it was an indictment. It's just a question from people asking, who do you believe when it comes to some of the stories that are floating around, and my commentary on them, which might be a little pointed for everybody. And happy to get the other side whenever it's available. Whenever somebody's got something that they would like to add to that. But where did I put it? It was okay. Well, hold on. G Scoop is the place. Okay, so
yeah,
G Scoop. And what did they say about Raymond? Yeah, good evening. We were listening to Ray Gibson this morning, by the way. We missed you, Ray. I love you. And we got some really good laughs. What really caught our eye was his claim the accusations from Dennis Rodriguez and Troy Torres about JD and Twin Cap was nothing more than a hoax. I suppose an investigation being done by the FBI is another hoax? Well, nobody knows because they won't ever say, right? Maybe we'll know more. The bigger question is, who do we believe? Ray Gibson, a very popular and credible radio host. You forgot good-looking and humble. Just try to be complete. Or Troy Torres, a former staffer at Adelup, former, and it would appear current Rodriguez Cruz campaign manager. And what is it? One guy says, "Hey Ray, are you on ice too? Never really did like you. You leave, then come back, and now you have a point. Give me a break. Period. Jerk." And then if somebody says Dennis is a credible man, he said Troy's story is accurate, then I believe him. Les Paul says Dennis the Pay Raise Rodriguez is the liar. And Stephen Chargaloff says Ray has way more credibility. That's nice. Okay. Anybody else got any other comments in there? I'll check back every once in a while. And then there are some comments that I cannot read on the air. Something disgrace. 888-8255 is the phone number. David Lessard on Facebook writes, "Morning, Ray. Like to give a shout out and thanks to Guam Solid Waste for providing a free recycling trash bin. It helps our households. It helps out our household extra trash." No, you're not supposed to use it for extra trash. David, what you are saying there is that the reason why they give it to you is for the recycling. You're not supposed to put extra, if you got a whole bunch of kitchen trash and whatever, you're not supposed to put that in the recycling one. You're supposed to put only things that can be recycled in the recycling one. I say that knowing full well that my own personal history is every once in a while, when the black one, the one with the black lid is full, son, go ahead and put it in the green one.
You mean that's not where my bacon grease goes? Because I can't pour it down the sink anymore. No, I got to put it somewhere.
Get angry with you about all of that stuff. 9:44 in the morning. Sorry about that. JB says everything being said is 100% accurate. I suppose you're talking about me, Ismail Valiz. We're talking about midget wrestlers, and he's writing something about the Hobbit House in Manila. You'll have to private message me with details, locations, and what time happy hour is. And Mark Cruz, we're talking about roller derby.
Nice. Yes.
And Mark said James Caan in the movie Rollerball.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
But was that a roller derby movie, or was that a driving around movie?
It was like a rollerball on steroids. Oh. Right, like a roller derby on steroids. So you had a ball and other things that were involved with it. It was
and
intense.
things that exploded. Okay, my favorite movie with the ball in it is it's called Phantasm.
Oh, okay.
You ever seen
Yeah,
Phantasm? You know the one, right? With the tall guy in the cemetery, and then they get the short little Ewok things that scare the hell out of everybody else in the movie.
It's been a long time.
And the ball in the crypt that kind of levitates and floats on its own real fast, and it goes to your forehead, and it sticks to your forehead, and then a drill comes out. Boy.
Well, if it drilled into mine, it wouldn't get them much.
You play a good game, boy, but the game is over, and now you die. Angus Krim, I think, was the guy's name.
Nice.
Love that movie. Anyway, David Lazard coming back saying the extra trash are the recyclables. All right. Just want to make sure. Oh, man. See, you got me to admit that was my gambit, too. But, all right, whatever I said about using the recycling bin for just regular household trash, I take it back. Never happened. It was a hoax. Yeah, it's a hoax, like those guys finding the cocaine in a barrel. I've been playing that off like it was a hoax for the last couple of days as well, but I got intel from somebody that says not only is it not a hoax, but there have been what they're talking about in the bust in Iran is actually only a third of what has been found.
I was going to say, if you can imagine that we found a package full and now a barrel full, and it's a statistical fact that police only get about 10% of the drugs. So can you imagine what actually made it and is circulating through the island right now?
Is it circulating through the island, or is there any more of that out there?
Got to be.
And so if, one pack here, another pack there, and then we start hearing about, down in Iran, another one. And like I said, I got a third guy that's telling me now that there was not one, but two, but three. Wow. Of these containers that washed up on the shores. I sure hope the cops are able to figure out where all of that stuff is and prevent that from getting left out in the community. I don't know. I'm just saying. I really want to talk about being a clubmate some more.
Yeah, no, that's looked like a fun gig.
Yeah, come work at the happiest place in the Pacific. Openings in the sports, entertainment, and activities department. Entertainment.
Yeah,
that's right up our line here.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Clubmate, part-time, full-time, summer hire positions are available. Do you speak Korean?
I can learn.
Right? Japanese?
I used to teach Koreans English, so surely I could flip it around.
Wait a second. You had that job?
I did.
Well, that is so cool.
Oh, yeah. No, that was understanding the idiosyncrasies between the languages, and so that helps you be able to teach them. For instance, like Koreans, the L and R sound, same thing. So that's why they have trouble with the L's and the R's. They have one symbol, one letter, one sound that combines the two. So you have to teach them how to separate that sound, and it's very difficult. It's one of the premier challenges for not only but Chinese, Japanese,
how could you teach people to speak English if you didn't understand, if you weren't able to speak the language that they were coming from?
Well, see, they had already had an elementary level of teaching before they got to me.
I see.
So I'm teaching kind of intermediate to advanced English skills. So they could already communicate fairly well, but still had some pronunciation issues, and that's actually why the school hired me, is because of my former media experience at the time, that I could help them with their enunciation and things.
Understood. All right, 9:49 in the morning. Let me finish up a break here, and then we'll come back and wrap up the show.
In this divided world, there are still a few things that unite us. The thrill of an exciting championship game.
Fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
The sound of great music.
The Grammy goes to...
And the love we have for that perfect burger. Ruby Tuesday Guam presents to you For the Love of Burgers menu. For a limited time, we want you to put down that fork, tuck that napkin in your collar, and go for broke with an amazing burger for just $11.99. 8 burgers to try, and time is a-wasting. Ruby Tuesday Guam lunchtime. See you soon.
In illness and in wellness, Calvo's Select Care is health care that is there for you. That's why over 80% of the Guam medical community places their trust and insures with us. We offer our members wellness and fitness programs for a healthier lifestyle and provide a comprehensive medical network on and off island to help members from unexpected illnesses. Contact Calvo's Select Care today for more information.
Say hello to high-speed data on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. We've just upped your prepaid data, so make your big plans bigger with 1 gigabyte of data per day. Bigger prepaid data for your big plans that just keep getting better. Enjoy high-speed data and unlimited local talk and text on the widest 4G LTE network in the Marianas. Text LTE to 3282, select a plan, and enjoy 1 gigabyte of data per day. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
All right. A couple of things that have been floating around in my head that I've been unable to turn into a riff. And it has to do with the drugs that they're finding in these barrels and little packets of, and they said, I guess the thing they have in common is it's got Chinese writing on it.
Right.
And so you might do me a favor, somebody shoot me a picture of those things if you got them. I mean, if you found some of those cocaine packets, just shoot me an image of the writing on them, because I'd like to be able to discern what I can. What I'm trying to do here is combine, and my movie buff listener fans will get this right off the top. I want to find out if they come from David Lopan.
Okay.
Do you know David Lopan?
No,
you don't
idea.
know the reference.
No. Remember, I'm not a movie guy, so.
The three storms, thunder, rain, lightning, the mighty warriors, Lopan. None of this is ringing a bell?
None of it right now is. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So everybody else is yelling at the radio going,
Probably.
Mike, he's talking about Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, yeah. Again, just didn't see it.
What?
Didn't see it. Mm-mm.
There's a premiere movie from the 1980s. It's Jack Burton.
Yeah.
Leave him
I
alone.
heard lots of good things about it, just never got around to seeing it.
They were trying to do a remake of it a couple of years ago, and they were supposed to have not David Lopan, but they were supposed to have The Rock playing the role of Jack Burton in the show. And I thought, you know what, he's going to play it wrong.
Yeah,
he'll play it wrong. It's a hero movie, but it's not about Jack Burton. It's about his Chinese friend, the young. He's the real hero of the story, and Kim Cattrall's in it, and she keeps her clothes on almost the entire time.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so it's a Big Trouble in Little China. David Lopan, who's the bad guy, and the drug dealer and the prostitute guy in the movie, and I'm thinking that maybe this is, there might be a way that we can tie for comedic purposes the fact that the cocaine might have come from David Lopan, who, despite getting beaten in Big Trouble in Little China, still has a going cocaine concern. In Asia and the Pacific.
Yeah, it usually doesn't stop.
See,
I may have seen the
and that's
movie.
why I didn't say anything about it earlier, because I just don't. I didn't develop the riff. I'm just saying somebody will. Romeo's going to find the artwork for Big Trouble in Little China, and that's going to be on Guam Blog by tonight.
Yeah. See, I might have seen the movie. Fact is, I don't remember the 80s.
Man. Okay. All right. So where else did I want to go? Another thing. Earlier today, I was asked to riff on, and that's basically it. It's just a stream of consciousness is what I call it. It's just a riff on whatever the topic is. And I was asked to riff on a Chris Barnett story that was on KUAM. I read bits and pieces of it to you, and I didn't see whether or not the video version of it has been posted yet today. And when it does, I'll probably end up playing that on the Facebook Live, because I can. It's enjoyable, and I have a good time doing it. But the idea is that since the beginning of the fiscal year, there have been a significant number of people that have been hired in the government of Guam. There's a significant number of people that were hired in the midst of the fiscal crisis.
And I think the thing that's got everybody upset is they were hired by the executive branch.
See, Mark got it. Big Trouble in Little China. See?
Yeah.
But regardless of where they were hired, it's the executive branch. Yeah, it's like everybody. But there are places obviously where we need people. Rev and Tax, there's a bunch of people got hired over there. Mayor's Council did a heck of a lot of hiring in $20,000 positions. But in the midst of this fiscal crisis, there were like 143 people that got hired, and so the folks over at the governor's office are saying, no, that's not right. We shouldn't. The people that were hired were there to fill in jobs vacancies that were created when employees were separated from the government, or whether it was through retirement, termination, or another reason. And it's not $6 million like Chris Barnett said it was. They've reduced personnel costs from $4.2 million to $3.9 million a pay period as of April. And then it goes on to do a little bit more spinning and all of that stuff. So just for my edification, because I wanted to find out whether, how much of this hiring was going on over at the governor's office.
Right.
And I think the number just in the fiscal year alone is an additional 6 people, staff assistants.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's Andy Cruz, staff assistant, $35,000. And that was done back in October, the beginning of the new fiscal year. In December, Andy was joined as staff assistant by Joseph Salas, Lynette Cruz, and Ray Bondoc, making between $33,000 and $50,000 for being staff assistants at the governor's.
Yeah. Wow.
Nancy Mesa joined the crowd in January, $60,000 as a staff assistant.
You and I are in the wrong business.
At the governor's office. I turned down that job. Christina Canatta, $28,000. Staff assistants, what is the spread here? On how come some of them is $28,000, $35,000, $50,000, $60,000? So in total, there were six folks that were added to the ranks at the governor's office as, quote, staff assistants.
Probably determined by how many degrees of separation there is between them and the person that hired them.
I'm trying to, what the hell do you do at the governor's office as a staff assistant that is worth $60,000? $60,000, there ought to be a title a lot bigger and more prestigious than staff assistant, don't you think? So I'm kind of curious as to what some of those positions might be and how I can line up a cush job as a staff assistant over at the governor's office for $60,000. What do you think, Joe?
I was thinking about the replacement for your uncle
Robert
Underwood.
Yeah.
Over at UOG.
Yes, good.
Why don't we try to get someone from Guam? Like maybe we'll get a list of all the doctorates on Guam, like Simon Sanchez, and we'll ask them. We'll start at the top of the list. Hey, you want to be the president of UOG? And then that way we'll keep some of that money on Guam, and we have stakeholders.
What I want to do is draft them. I want to draft them. So if it like jury duty, right? So if you got a driver's license, then you're up for jury duty, or you have to sit down for a year as the president of the University of Guam.
Also, thank you there, Ray.
All right, buddy. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Hey, gotta get ready to go here. Did I get to everything I wanted to talk about today? I got the stale David Lopan bit going. No, I didn't. We weren't able to get to Carl Gutierrez. I'll tell you what. Later we'll find Carl Gutierrez, and it will have nothing to do with politics. It will have everything to do with entertainment options for the people of Guam back in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Because back then, you got to know this, right? Back then, there was like 2 AM stations and maybe 2 FM stations. The over-the-air television stations signed off at midnight. And until 1973, everything was black and white.
Wow.
So just FYI, this was a barren wasteland of entertainment, and it didn't turn around until we got cable television. But even then, when we got cable television, it was number one. It was there was only like 4 channels,
right? Yeah.
And they added them incrementally over the years, and there was no remote control for the television. Actually, there was. It was your kids. So when we needed to change the channel, my stepfather would just say, "Raymond, get up and change the channel." And we'd go click, click, and find something maybe to watch, and eventually you had to settle on something. So there was not a whole lot by entertainment options, but there were some. There were concert promoters. Roberta Flack came to Guam. War came to Guam in those early days of entertainment. And like I said, there was midget wrestling going on. And when it wasn't midget wrestling, there were some of the superstars of the West Coast wrestling scene that came to Guam. Was it Jim Tolis, I think was the guy's name. And the Fabulous Moolah, I think, was another name of one of the ladies. That my mother has a scrapbook that I made from that a long, long time ago, and I don't know where it is, and she didn't tell me before she died, so I'm going to have to go ransack the house and find it. Hey, listen to music. I guess that means I can be relaxed and stop talking now. The radio station is KUSG Hagåtña, and we play Fox News Live. And here's the latest round of that. See you tomorrow.
A new attack on intelligence agencies. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump again accusing the Department of Justice of planting a spy during his campaign as Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein and FBI Director Chris Wray get set to meet with top